This is A's Cast Live, your comprehensive look at the Oakland Athletics.
Rooker, it's a fly ball to deep center. Robert going back at the track. He will turn and watch it fly.
And 29 other MLB clubs.
Adolis Garcia swings on the other way. That sends Carroll back. He's at the legend. Ronald Acuna, another milestone in a truly historic season.
Julio with an absolute nuke out to left field.
It's Glaber Day. And like a good Glaber, Torres is there.
Join us as we take you inside the baseball universe. From humidors to Stuff Plus to walk-off dingers, we have you covered. Spend your afternoon with us, only on A's Cast Live. Here's Chris Townsend.
Good afternoon, everybody, from the Valley of the Sun. We are back, A's Cast Live, here at Fantasy Camp, and this is how Arizona is supposed to be, I can tell you that. Where we don't have the wind, sun is out. I will say this, I have noticed over the years, being an Arizona veteran, that the sign is if it's around noon, 1 o'clock, and no one's at the pool at your place. If no one's at the pool, it either means one of two things. It's either too hot, which probably normally happens down here, or it's chilly when no one's at the pool. Because usually noon, 1 o'clock, there's always some type of human beings down by the pool, kids, families, whatever. And when I look out, because my hotel room looks down at the pool, I looked at the pool, and when I saw Dallaire was picking me up at noon, and I look out at noon, and no one's out at the pool, kind of tells you a little bit.
Yeah. Is our pool inside? I didn't even see where our pool was, so our pool is outside.
It's outside.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you don't even, I mean, you're.
Well, I guess that makes sense. It is Arizona. I mean, why would you put a pool indoors since it's not?
Yeah, why would you have an indoor pool where it's 120 degrees?
Yeah, it's not like we're going vacationing in Montana or something where you need to put it indoors.
So we got another great show for you today. We're going to have a lot of the coaches. Are we having the great Raleigh Fingers today, the Hall of Famer?
I don't know if Raleigh's here yet. I think Raleigh's coming tomorrow.
So what coaches are we going to have today?
We're going to try to get Rosie, Adam Rosales.
Love talking to Rosie.
We'll try to get our good friend Rajay Davis, who works for the league, and he's here as a coach as well. And we'll try to get Terry Steinbach, who's here. And then we'll have, obviously, our A's players. Nick Allen will be joining us here live on set.
Yeah.
Because he's working out here at Fitch. Then we'll have Ryan Noda and Zack Gelof from today, later today. And then we'll also have probably the greatest story at Fantasy Camp. There's a camper named Ash who came all the way from Australia. We will just leave it at that. He can explain his whole travel. We found out about it last night. It's incredible that the amount of hours he spent on public transportation to get here. But he's having the time of his life, and that's all that matters here.
So he came up to me at our gathering on Friday night. And there's a great chain down here. We actually had Steve Vucinich. We had his retirement party there. Culinary Dropout. And the food's phenomenal. If you're ever down here, Culinary Dropout, they got a couple of them here in the Valley. And that one was in Phoenix. This one that we did, was it in Gilbert?
Yeah, I went to Gilbert.
So we're having there's a Friday night party where all the campers come together. And like we said, this is like such a family atmosphere because so many of the guys and gals who come and play in this, they've known each other for years. So it's kind of like how they reunite, cocktails, food, and there's a Friday night party. All the coaches show up. So, when you got Dave Stewart, Carney Lansford, and Terry Steinbach and everybody, it's Dallas Braden. It's a big deal. So he comes up to me and tells me about how he and his family love listening to A's Cast in Australia. I just said, I'm thinking about the callers that I have down in Australia. We love them for the post-game show. And I'm like, are you one of my Australian callers? And he goes, no. And then he starts telling me the story, like you said, about how he got here. It's trains, planes, and automobiles about how he got here. But, they are diehard A's fans. And I can't wait for him to tell you the story about how he became an A's fan. 1988, down in Australia, Wide World of Sports would show part of the World Series. So he got the first 3 innings of the World Series watching Dave Stewart. And then they break away to like skiing and British darts and all these different other sports. I'm not kidding. I'm done. And then all of a sudden something happens.
Yeah.
But you don't get the whole World Series game.
He was
And that's how he became an
Yeah.
A's fan.
And it's awesome. And then he, like you said, he'll tell the incredible travels. Story. It's John Candy and was that Steve Martin, right?
Steve Martin and John Candy.
Yeah, great movie. It's similar to that pretty much. We'll just leave it at that.
And I'm really looking forward to what Ryan Noda kind of recapping his first year as a Rule 5 guy, because Mitch Spence is going to be that guy for us this year, a potential starting pitcher who the A's got in the Rule 5 draft while we were down in Nashville at the winter meetings from the New York Yankees. And what is that pressure like? I remember talking to Bip Roberts about that, who you see on A's pre- and post-game live on NBC Sports California, former A and had a terrific career. He was once a Rule 5 guy. He was in Pittsburgh's organization, selected in the Rule 5 draft by the San Diego Padres, had to be up with the Padres for a year, really struggled, then sent back down and had to prove his way back up. Now, obviously, that's not going to happen with Ryan Noda. And Rule 5, there's a lot of pressure, right? Because you're going to be there, you're going to play, and if you fail and they're going to send you back, your old team has the right to buy you back. If they don't, then you'll go down to minor league. But there's a lot of pressure when you're the Rule 5 guy, and you're going to be on the big club. So curious, Ryan Noda, what kind of advice he'd have, especially for a pitcher. Because with a hitter, you get your chances, right? You're going to get your opportunities. With a pitcher, it can be lonely when you don't throw the ball well and you're going once every 5 days. My God, I hate to even say this, once every 6 days. But, what kind of advice for Mitch Spence will he have? And will he have that conversation with him? Because, you're kind of out there on an island as a Rule 5 guy for the first time. You're showing up to an organization. You don't know anybody. But for like Ryan Noda, it was a unbelievable situation. It was great for him. Getting out, he was essentially blocked. He's exactly what the Rule 5 draft was made for. Guys who are in a minor league system, guys that are not going to be protected, good players, but they need somewhere else to go. They need an opportunity. Because once they sign Freddie Freeman to a contract, he was done. His Dodger days were done. And what Ryan Noda showed everybody with his ability, his great eye, his ability to get on base, he's very athletic for a guy his size, really good hands, so he's very good defensively. What Ryan Noda showed everybody real quick is, I can play at this level. And if you put Ryan Noda back out there right now, like as a free agent, I guarantee there's a lot of teams who would line up and say, you can play for us in the big leagues right now.
Yeah, I agree with you. We were excited to have when he came up last year, and one of the most famous Rule 5 picks is Mark Canha, who had a great A's career. Now he's in Detroit. Probably the most famous Rule 5 player ever was Roberto Clemente. I believe he was a Dodger too, and then the Pirates got him. So that's how that kind of worked. I think he was like the first Rule 5 guy or one of the first.
Yeah.
But yeah, Noda, could be a great person to talk to for Mitch Spence, as you mentioned. Spence coming over from the Yankees, and he's gonna get a chance because you're not going to use his 5 starters as we talked about yesterday. There's going to be at least 12, 13. How many did we use last year? 17, 18.
And I know people go, what about, the relievers who are an opener? Well, if you start the game, you count. Whatever that count is by the end of the year, it matters. The blurry line, I don't want to get away from Canada. You made a good point there, but there's a blurred line now
24
between what is a starting pitcher and what is not. Like you can say, well, that we used 24 starters last time. That doesn't count because of openers. Well, like Jordan Hicks is signed with the San Francisco Giants. This guy is a career, which you would see him as a closer. Throws 103 or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, they're now saying they want him to start.
4 years, 44 million, according to Jeff Passan. He has started before. I told you this right before we came on. He's made 8 career starts in 2022. Not great.
So he made 8 starts His best days are as a closer, but the Giants want him to try and start, right? So the lines of who's a starter, who's a reliever, we've told you for years now that where this is going, we hate it, but where this is going is a positionless staff. That's where this thing's been going, right? And Scott Emerson, our pitching coach, has talked to us about it, to where you basically say you got 13 guys, and nobody has really a role. You just show up ready to go every day. You're either able to pitch or not able to pitch. And it's completely different than what we've seen for years. Sports evolve, sports change. I don't know. Will it be successful in the long run? We haven't totally seen that. The Giants kind of went to that a little bit last year when we saw, I wouldn't say a little bit, they went to it a lot, where they were doing a lot of relievers starting, but that is really kind of where the sport is going to go long term. If you can have a guy like Garrett Cole, and now you're going to say, well, Garrett Cole's expensive. Well, Garrett Cole wasn't always expensive. When you can have that thoroughbred pitcher that you draft, whether it's out of college, out of high school, that you think can be this great starting pitcher, he's going to be a luxury. Well, but how are you going to fill out the rest of the days of the week with guys got to take the ball? We know for a fact that if we don't designate you as a starter, we don't have to pay you as a starter. We can start you without giving you the label as a starter. Ryan Stanek, our guy, the opener, is a great example of, well, he'd go one, and then he got through one. Well, why not have him go two? And then slowly but surely, the role can evolve to where, wow, he can go three, and he can go two, and he can go four, and he can get. So really, you show up every day, or the manager will go the night before the game. After the game, he'll look and say, okay, who do you think is available for tomorrow? So you'll have X, Y, and Z available, and you'll have X, Y, and Z who are not. And guys who are available could be 6, could be 8. You are the guys who are going. It kind of, when you talk about it, it does make sense. Now, dealing with human beings, dealing with arms, dealing with injuries, dealing with wants and needs of the player, wants and needs of the agent, may not completely work out that way. But you could see where, if you threw 3 innings for me on Monday, why can't you throw 3 innings for me on Wednesday or Thursday? And then those 3 innings may not be at the start of the game. You may start the first 3 innings on Monday, and then you're giving me the last 3 on Thursday.
Yeah, and Senek's, I'm glad you mentioned Senek, because he was like, him and Romo are like the original openers, and then they kind of
Romo was the original opener.
Romo, then Stanek started doing it more. Now Stanek's like pitching later in games. I think he's a free agent now, but he was with Houston most recently.
Oh, it would be a great A.
Yeah, and well, that'd be great. That'd be great for us.
Oh God, it'd be a great A.
Baseball
out of the University of Arkansas.
Between that and talking about SEC football, we'd have a great weekly show. But yeah, he was a guy that won for being an opener, and then they'd have him pitch later in games. And they primarily focus on him just being an opener. Now he's back to pitching later in games. He's never been a closer. He's just been like a mid to late innings guy. And then he was the opener that's what put him on the map with Tampa. And I remember when we asked him about that, how's this going to work when you're trying to get paid? And he had no idea how it was going to work. And here we are, years later, and he still never got that big deal because he was not considered a starting pitcher.
Yeah, the value of once we take starter and closer away. And obviously we see that right now with Josh Hader, as Josh Hader trying to get Edwin Diaz or greater money. Once we take that distinction away, and if we compare it to a position player, it's the role that all of a sudden a lot of guys used to cringe getting, utility guy. He's a utility, which we know the utility guy is super valuable. We need somebody that can play in the infield. We need somebody that can play all outfield spots. You can be the emergency catcher? Sweet. Chad Pinder, come on down. I can play at short. I can play in second. I can play at third. He can play first. He can catch. We put him in the outfield. My God, he gets great jumps in the outfield. Statcast, love Chad Pinder, who, by the way, we got to get him on the show.
Yeah, we saw him in Nashville.
I was outside the it wasn't exactly a Starbucks, but they were serving Starbucks. It was
coffee shop.
It was like you're walking through like this little neighborhood in the Opryland. That's how it was. The ambiance was very nice. I enjoyed it. And then it's like a street. You're walking through the street and you're in the middle of a hotel. And I'm like, there's Chad Pender. You said, gee. I went, oh, there's Chad Pender. So I went up and said hello, how's the family, how's everything, and said he'd love to come on the show. He's going to be an agent now.
Oh, is that what he's doing?
Yeah, he's going to.
Oh, wow.
He's getting into that side of the smart side to get into. By the way, I want to get back to Mark Canha. He's a great example because Mark Canha, you would not say, is one of the great Rule 5 guys on how it's supposed to go. Right? You take the Rule 5 guy, he shows up, he plays that year, he can flat out play, makes your roster, the rest is history. Mark Canha, I don't even remember. Remember, he was a Marlin, and then he was a Rocky, and we took him in the Rule 5. Did we get him from the Rockies or the Marlins? I don't know. There was some
Rockies, yeah.
It's a Rocky, yeah, but he was a Marlins property and went over to the Rockies, and we took him.
I think we traded for him.
Then he gets hurt. I mean, we had no idea what he was going to play. It's like, can he play first? Can he play third? Is he just going to DH? Little did you know he'd have major hip surgery, and then years later he's playing center field for you.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole Mark Canha thing. But he's another great example of who would have thought Mark Canha is a major league outfielder now.
Yeah.
A highly coveted, he's a Tiger, but he, went from the Mets to the Brewers, now a Tiger. He's a coveted major league outfielder right now. When the A's selected him as a Rule 5 pick, he was an infielder. He was labeled a bad infielder with a good bat. That's why these rules are in place to give guys opportunity, because you never know. Now, all the Bellarmine people that we now know, and I know his old coach, Gary Cunningham, who's a San Jose State Baseball Hall of Famer. He's also a San Jose Hall of Famer, Gary Cunningham. Have you ever met Coach Cunningham?
Yeah, I interviewed him for the Canha documentary we did.
Yeah, he was not shy. He's like, of course he could play outfield. He was a great football player. He was, so these guys that get late. And baseball's got a bad problem that it's shaking right now is labeling guys. You do this, you do that. Getting back to also, you're a starter, you're a reliever, you're a closer. It all starts to blur. But getting back to Ryan Noda, looking forward to it. And that was one of the things that I did at the end of the year is I went into the clubhouse at the I think it was like the last or second last day, and I said, hey to Gelof. And I went to Noda, and I went to Allen. I said, hey, we want to check in with you guys in the offseason before spring training just to see how things are going. We want to see them, right? Want to see what they look like, how they doing, how's your offseason, how's your holidays, what have you been working on, what are your expectations? So I'm kind of thrilled we're going to be getting into that today.
Yeah, and it's cool that Nick Allen's actually here too, so we'll get him in person, and then Gelof and Noda, it'd be cool to check on them. And I think then we talk to Lawrence Butler too, one of the last days, because he's always down to come on. We just got to ask for him, and then we'll have to get Denzel Clark down the line too.
Yeah, we were supposed to get Denzel Clark. It just didn't work out, but
we'll get him. Don't worry.
Yeah, everybody's saying that Denzel Clark is the best athlete they've seen in a long, long time. Now, we just heard about what a great athlete Gelof is, and we've now seen it. We've heard what a great athlete Butler is. Now we've seen it. Henry Bolte, who is a terrific athlete out of Palo Alto High, who was with the Stockton Ports. I'm assuming he's going to be moving up. That's my guy, Henry Bolte. I'm a big Henry Bolte fan.
Baseball America rated him as the best athlete in the system. That's ahead of Denzel Clark.
But everybody says Denzel Clark. What they have seen, Denzel Clark is like super freak athlete.
Yeah,
like NFL style athlete.
Everyone, but it was Bobby Crosby told us about how crazy he was during the season. How good of an athlete he was.
Yeah, people can't believe the catches he makes. They can't believe the things that they see him do on the field. That stuff is exciting because we got so stale as an organization. The Moneyball thing it was, love Matt Stairs, but you can only have so many Matt Stairs.
What a great pull.
Sorry, Matty. I mean, you can only have so many. You can only have so many slugs, right? You can have only so many guys, and it's like, do we care how they get on base? Yeah, because how do you get them home? How do you get Jack Cust home? How do you get? And you know what? I'll do equal hate across the bay. How do you get Brandon Belt home? Like for guys that have, and it's now a Juan Soto thing. It's how, they walk. Oh, look, they're on base. It's incredible. It's incredible. And then you go, well, why don't they score as many runs? And then people will say, and I'm channeling my inner, what's our buddy from MLB.com who loves Juan Soto?
Oh, Mike Petriello.
I'm channeling Mike. Well, it's not his fault. It's the other guys in the lineup. Oh, so you walk and you're slow, and it's not your fault you don't score a lot of runs. Because you know what we never said? It's not Ricky Henderson's fault that he scores a lot of runs.
Yeah.
Did anybody question why Ricky Henderson scores a lot of runs?
No, not that we know of.
Right? I mean, Ricky Henderson. No one ever blamed the lineup for why Ricky Henderson. Well, the only reason why Ricky Henderson scored a lot of runs was because the lineup around him. Was that ever said?
Maybe that was a knock on him. Remember how Sandy said they always had to trade him.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because he scored too many runs and then he was making the team look bad. I don't know.
Where's the charger?
Over on that side by your backpack.
Yeah, I mean it's so. No one ever, because that's Jack Cuss. Well, if Jack Cuss was in a different lineup, he'd score. He'd do all this because he was in a different lineup. Well, then no one ever said if Ricky needed to be in a certain lineup to score runs.
Yeah, let's see Jack.
And you'll say, well, that's yes, that's the difference between a slow guy and a super fast guy. A slow guy, you need to do a lot to score him. So the A's, Moneyball and all this kind of crap, and all of a sudden we were loaded with a bunch of non-athletic guys who just could swing out of their ass for home runs and could walk, and then it doesn't work. You need athletes. You need athletic guys. That's when baseball was at its best. That's why I love watching. I love going out and watching. In my backyard, I got a new setup, and I love watching, just sitting back there when they have like the games from the 80s, and you just see dudes are running and flying around, and guys have power. Give me more Darryl Strawberries.
I'm trying to think who'd be a good comp to him right now in baseball, or just so there's some guys that have speed.
Give me Eric Davis. Give me guys that can hit for power and can run.
Eric the Red.
I mean, Barry Bonds before steroids. No offense.
Yeah, well, he's a good player both.
But all those guys, I mean, you would have guys like Steve Fenley. You got Jim Edmonds. You got all these guys who can run and can hit.
Now we have several, like Ronald Acuna's one.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's not as many as there used to be, but
there's a lot of terrific athletes in baseball once again. There's no question about it. We're going to get Ash coming on from, you going to get him now? I do need to get into the Hall of Fame because this is going to be our last time on before the Hall of Fame actually announced. And
I think it's next, the 23rd, I think is when they announce who goes in.
And we're going to have a big class.
It's trending that way.
It's trending to have a very big class. And if you're a big hall guy, there's small hall people and big hall people. If you're a big hall guy, you're not going to love it. If you're a small hall guy, you're not going to love it. If you're a big hall guy, I think you're absolutely going to love it. So Adrian Beltre, I mean, he's trending at 98 point. You need 75%. Beltre is trending at 98.5. No brainer.
Correct. Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm not even going to go to his Wikipedia and even read all the stuff. I don't need to.
He has 3,000 hits.
You don't even need to.
Yeah.
The home runs, the RBIs, the gold gloves, the platinum. How many was he got? 2 platinum gloves?
Something like that.
I don't even need to go I don't even need the resume. Adrian Beltre is a first ballot, no question Hall of Famer.
Agreed. I forget what his WAR is, but it is very high. I would say
don't even need to look at it. You don't need to look. Do you need to look at it?
I want to know what his WAR is, though. Curiosity will always get me. His WAR is actually 93.5. It's pretty good.
Now, it's interesting we're going to get into that because we had a guy last night questioned who has a 94 WAR, and a lot of people questioned it. It goes into the big hall. Fine, you know what? Since you win, I wasn't going to do it. Just quickly. Just
you were correct. 2 platinum gloves.
Yeah. 5 gold gloves, 4-time All-Star, National League home run leader.
4-time Silver Slugger.
I mean, he's just down the line, 3,000 hits. He's got 477 home runs, 1,707 RBIs. Yeah. 1,700 RBIs.
1,500 runs. That's pretty good.
How did he score all these runs? Why can't Juan Soto score runs?
and a 116 OPS plus. So that's, remember,
It's a no-brainer.
League average is 100. He's 16.
No-brainer.
Above. So that's one.
Number 2. This is your guy.
Yeah, this is my guy.
And this is he goes into the big hall conversation. Because if we were still playing small hall, I don't know, that just doesn't sound right, does it? Smaller Hall of Fame, harder to get into, more exclusive. If we were really picking and choose who comes into the club, there's 2 lines to get into the club. There's that line that's a longer line, and that's the who you really want in the club line to the right.
Yes.
Beltre's in that
That's a good way
line.
to put it, yeah.
Right? I could have been very sexist there, and I talking about clubs and who you let in. That line's a different line than that line. Joe Mauer to me is more in that line.
Oh, wow. Shots fired.
I'm just saying, Joe Mauer, great career, but he's trending at 84.4. Obviously, 3 batting titles. That's great.
MVP.
He's got an MVP. It's great.
3 Gold Gloves.
But half of his time wasn't even a catcher. So if we're taking his numbers as a non-catcher, kind of rough, man. Kind of hard to put him in that. He's not in the short line if you look at how many games he actually did catch.
He caught 921 games, and he played 603 at first. Everyone's going to go, well, about his home runs. Well, he wasn't a power hitter. He had 143 home runs. The MVP year was only ever hit over 20, I'm pretty sure. 306 career batting average, 55.2 WAR, 923 runs batted in, and 124 OPS plus. 1,018 runs scored.
Yeah, but all of his good numbers were in the Metrodome.
That's getting the whole argument about debate about Todd Helton.
I mean, if you're gonna bang Todd Helton for Coors Field, how about Mauer for the Metrodome?
I never thought about that with the Metrodome.
Metrodome was a totally offensive ballpark. My man Ash is here. He's in the green. He looks gorgeous in this uniform. The Kelly green is rocking today. You ready? Now, Dave Stewart had to go. We got some great stories. Have we? We're switched?
We're switched, yeah.
Ash, welcome. I know you're a big fan of A's Cast Live and A's Cast. This is your debut. You watch and listen to this all the time.
I do, mate, every day. Like, I listen to you guys on iHeartRadio, catch up with your podcasts, watch you on YouTube. It's just fantastic. It's given me access to the A's that I could only ever dream of having. It's fantastic.
Well, I got to say, it's an honor to have you here. You embody everything that A's Fantasy Camp is all about, what it took you just to get here to Mesa, Arizona. Tell the fans your travel schedule, what you had to do to get here from down under.
Okay, so I live in a town called Dubbo, which is about 6 hours west of Sydney. So essentially to get to Sydney Airport, I had to drive 5 hours, caught a train for 2 hours. Then I flew from Sydney to LAX, and then from there flew from LAX to Phoenix. So trains, planes, and automobiles, Chris. But this has been like just the most amazing experience. So I turn up first day, I'm sitting there at the bar as you do on these camps, and I've got Bobby Crosby next to me on this side. I've got Dallas Braden here, and we're just sitting there chatting like we're buds, and we're just learning about the game, and just listening to Dallas talk about how he would set up hitters when he'd pick them off, and as a student of the game, just the access you get is just incredible, and everyone's so nice, and it's just the one in a lifetime experience, which I reckon I'll make two of a lifetime experience, because I'm coming back. This is really great.
Well, you said last night to me, you said this is the greatest day of my life. And yesterday you were out on the mound, you're struggling a little bit, and the great Dave Stewart, one of the, I mean, we all know, I mean, you talk about guys that, we talk about players that are not in the Hall of Fame. I mean, guy won 20 games, 4 straight years. That'll never be done again. He's a World Series MVP. He's in the Oakland A's Hall of Fame. His win total would have been far greater, except for the early part of his career where he eventually figured stuff out. But Dave Stewart is truly one of the greatest big game pitchers, a 3-time World Series champion. just what was it like? You're out there on the mound, and a guy that you absolutely love, Dave Stewart, is coming out to talk to you.
Man, Dave, he's come out, gives me the stare and says, just go play catch. Because I couldn't hit the side of a bus. I was just struggling. I haven't thrown off a mound for 25 years, but just to have him come up and, I'm getting visited by Dave Stewart. Like, where does that happen? Like, that just doesn't happen. And also I'm in the box hitting, and I've got Ernie Young, giving you advice on, how to get out in the head of how to get out and hit. And actually, I had a better day at the bat. I went 3 for 3. So, yeah, it was good.
He's swinging it. Asher's definitely swinging it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when you just mentioned the names, like you're at the bar with Bobby Crosby and Dallas Braden, your manager and the guy coming out and dealing with you is Dave Stewart.
Played golf with Shooty Babbitt. Like, man, it's like an A's fans. It's a fantasy. Like, it doesn't happen. It's just unbelievable.
No doubt. Talk about we on Friday night, you came up and we were talking, and just how you became an A's fan.
Yeah, so you turn up here and they go, you're from Australia. Why the A's? Why are you doing that? And so in Australia at the time in the 80s, baseball was only ever on TV for the World Series. It'd come on at 1 o'clock in the morning, which wasn't even the real time. It was like recorded. And you'd have to record it on your Betamax or your VHS and watch it the next day. But in 88, they decided to show the World Series. And they showed it in a show called Wide World of Sports. So, which is pretty cool. So we get the first 3 innings of the game. And I decided at that point I was following the green and gold. They cut it off and they go to, I think, Nordic ski jumping. Then they went to British darts. And I think they went to ice skating. And then it comes back on in the last innings. And Kirk Gibson's at bat, hits a home run. And I decided at that point that I was just following the A's from there on in. And then 12 months later, Stu was in Australia. And I was a little kid. Well, 16-year-old, not a little kid. And he did a camp. And all I knew of Stu was this guy that had a hat, look over like this, and he'd look at you and go, you'd be scared of him. And he was just the nicest guy you could ever meet. And I got to ask him a question. I asked him what made Dennis Eckersley so good. And he said, because he could hit the bees on the side of from here to there. And I decided at that time just how nice he was and how good he was that this was the team. And from there, I've just followed you. And in the old days, you'd have to look up the score in the paper or get the standings. We used to get that in Australia, or buy Baseball America that was like 3 or 4 months old or whatever out of the news agency. But now, I'm like a regular fan. I listen to 162 games a year. I watch it. I listen to your spring training stuff. I listen to the A's cast. And it's just fantastic.
God bless you.
Yeah.
You're exactly what we need.
Yeah. And you reach to Australia. Like, I hear people from Australia calling to you all the time and that sort of stuff. And I was talking to Cody last night.
Yeah, Lucas is one of our great callers down under. He's fat. He's come to see us, and of course, we've had a pipeline of Australian players, but we do have listeners down there, and it's always you guys are a day ahead. So I always joke that whenever an Australian calls into the postgame show, I said we're going into the future. They are in the future. But yeah, it's like when our games are being played, it's like midday in Australia the next day.
It's midday, and I'm listening to it on the radio at work. Sorry, I hope no one from work's watching. That's what I do, and it's good.
So, just what was it like being an A's fan growing up? Like you said, tough to get like scores, tough to know what was going on.
Yeah.
We didn't have you and I are old enough. We didn't have the internet. We didn't have cell phones. We didn't have, we didn't have it. For God's sakes, you brought up Betamax. You know how many people watching this have no idea the difference between VHS. There was a fight between Beta and VHS back in the day. And kids, look it up on Google, and VHS won.
And I reckon Beta was better. I reckon Betamax was better.
But VHS in the end was cheaper, and it won out.
It won out, I know.
And we sound like two old men, and no one has any idea what the hell we're talking about.
Sorry about that.
VHS tapes? Yes, I still have bags of VHS tapes of my high school games back when. Yeah, that's a long time ago. But yeah, you it had to be hard because put it this way. Back in the day, if you were an A's fan or a fan of any team on the West Coast and you lived on the East Coast, you didn't get the next day. You had to wait the papers the day. It took you 2 days to get.
So the standings used to come in like probably once a fortnight. They'd put them in the back columns of the sports page, and it'd have where where the team was following and some of the scores through the week. But, you know, like I said, I would buy like we'd get a range of American magazines coming through at my local newsagent, and there would be like some baseball magazines, those kind of things. And that's, you know, who's the best player, the best teams, what their ratings were, those kind of things. And yeah, that's kind of how we had to do it.
All right, I know you got to get going here and you got to play, but just tell everybody, if somebody is out there and they're wondering, man, that looks cool. Look at the Kelly Green uni. Look at the hat. You know, I'm a huge baseball fan. I played baseball in high school. I've always wanted to. Or one thing that I've always said, it makes a great gift. If you've always wondering what a great Christmas, birthday gift to give somebody. But if I was to say, talk to the person out there who's always said they want to come to fantasy camp, tell them what the experience as someone who's come all the way from Australia, what the experience is like.
So the experience is just so authentic. It's so real. You get to meet these fantastic players. I'm going to meet Rolly Fingers, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
It's that. And it's just a wonderful experience. The people here are just fantastic. You go into that training rooms, you get the access to all the trainers, you get access to all the club's facilities out there, the hitting cages, everything. It's all rolled out here. And honestly, this is an awesome experience. So if you ever get an opportunity, get it. This was my 50th birthday present, by the way. So that's how that happened.
Happy 50th birthday.
So that's how that happened. And it's a really good experience. So I encourage you, if you get a chance, do it. You won't regret it.
And you just got to come from wherever you're watching. He had to do trains and airplanes. Well, everybody's probably going to have to do an airplane. But what you had to do to get here, I mean, what would you say the time was from door to door?
So from door to door, I reckon I was about 26 hours.
26 hours. For you, I guarantee it's going to be about an hour and 10, hour 20 minutes.
But worth every minute of it.
Well, congratulations. Happy birthday. Congratulations. I know this is a big moment for you.
Yeah.
You said Friday was the biggest day of your life. Then you said last night, and you were talking to Cody last night, so I don't know how you got that was the biggest day of your life. I love that. But today may be the greatest day of your life.
Yeah. If I can get a couple of hits in the next game, I think it'll.
Now, can we put you in the plus or minus of being able to pitch today?
You're
in the red.
I think I'm in the red because I haven't pitched a lot, and my training regime was literally throwing balls into a cricket net by myself. So I'm a bit stiff today, but we'll see.
All right, let's get some hits today.
Yeah, I've got to try and do that.
Hey, thanks for coming on. We truly appreciate it. You're what A's Fantasy Camp is all about.
Thanks, Chris. Lovely. Thanks for having me.
All right, coming up next, we got all of our guests and everything that we're going to be doing for the next couple hours right here down in the Valley of the Sun.
Hey, it's Eno Saris, your friendly neighborhood baseball scribe. There are two things I love, baseball and beer. When I'm not busy around the ballpark, you'll likely catch me back with a cold one at any of Fieldwork Brewing's 8 locations sprinkled across the Bay Area. Fieldwork's got a rotating lineup of over 20 beers on tap that's as diverse as any 26-man roster. They got everything from super juicy, hazy IPAs to crisp pilsners and tropical sours that make your taste buds do the wave. Whether you're all about that draft life or prefer to grab some cans to go, Fieldwork's got your bases covered. Check them out at fieldworkbrewing.com to learn more. That's fieldworkbrewing.com.
A's manager Mark Kotze was on A's Cast Live at the winter meetings and discussed the culture being built by the young A's.
I think we do have a collection of talent that the A's fans saw come together really in August and September. If you look at the first half of the year, we were staring at history. Zack Gelof showed up and a couple others kind of changed the culture. The next group that came, the Soderstrom Butler group, kind of recognized how difficult the big leagues really are. I think the culture that was built in September amongst this young group is going to continue forward in spring training. They're going to continue to challenge each other. They're going to continue to hold each other accountable, which is all the right things to build going forward for winning ball club.
You can watch the full interview at youtube.com/athletics or listen at athletics.com/A'sCast.
This is Chris Townsend and Commander Cody for Link Soul. You got to go to their website right now, linksoul.com. The new polos are unbelievable. New colors, lighter weight. We got our new summer shipment, Cody.
I couldn't be happier. I look better. All thanks to Link Soul.
So we're talking about new polos. You can check out their shorts, anything you need for summer. They have it right now. When you go to their website, they've got a smoking summer deal. Go to linksoul.com. That's linksoul.com.
It's almost that time again, A's fans. Spring training will be here before you know it, and the Oakland Athletics will be celebrating 10 years at Ho-Ho-Cam Stadium. Now's the time to make plans to catch us in Mesa, Arizona, starting on February 24th, and enjoy the sunshine of your family and friends.
Lawrence Butler, it's a fly ball to left field that's deep. Has a chance opposite field. Home run, Lawrence Butler.
Grab your tickets early for the best seats at the lowest prices as your green and gold take on the Giants, Padres, Cubs, Angels, and more at Ho-Ho-Cam Stadium. Don't wait. Get your tickets at athletics.com/spring. That's athletics.com/spring.
If you're looking for a great place to eat and watch games, go see our friends at the Chicken Pie Shop of Walnut Creek. The Chicken Pie Shop is one of the hottest restaurants in Walnut Creek. You're not going to find a better menu, and come try the world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 86 years. Spacious indoor and outdoor dining, perfect for your next private party or corporate event. Don't forget free parking. For more information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
Unlock offers and receive exclusive in-game features by downloading the MLB Ballpark app for iPhone and Android today. Plus, get the latest information on game times, schedules, and more.
Nestled in the hills of San Jose, minutes from Silicon Valley, Cinnabar Hills Golf Club offers 27 holes of championship golf, a first-class pro shop, practice facility, and great food in the grill. This time of year also means family and business get-togethers. Let the folks at Cinnabar Hills make your event unforgettable while enjoying their award-winning venue. It's all there for you. Championship golf, a great space for any events, and incredible food. See it all at CinnabarHills.com. That's CinnabarHills.com.
Like sports, business is about winning. Championship decisions are business decisions based on what it takes to help your company win. And that's why there's UBO Business Services, specializing in helping you win every day by streamlining workflows, managing documents, and providing the best-in-class office technology. Make your championship decision with UBO Business Services. Visit them at ubeo.com. That's ubeo.com.
And the underdogs Oakland Athletics win their first championship since they were in Philadelphia in 1930.
Hi, I'm Raleigh Fingers, Hall of Famer, three-time World Series champion with the Oakland A's and World Series MVP. Winning takes teamwork, skill, and heart. So when you need an ace for a personal injury lawyer that will win you the game, go with the winning team. Call Venardi Zerata at 833-VZ-for-me or go to vzlawfirm.com. Venardi Serrata, the official injury law firm of the Oakland A's.
Become an A's insider today. Visit athletics.com/newsletter and sign up to receive the latest team highlights, up-to-date news, features, and more, all delivered free to your inbox. That's athletics.com/newsletter.
If you're looking for a new mattress, Nest Bedding has you covered. Sleep on the same mattress Hall of Famer Ricky Henderson sleeps on. Nest Bedding is the #1 brand of online mattresses and the Bay Area's favorite mattress store. Take home the Easy Breather pillow. The New York Times calls it their #1 pick. You can navigate their easy-to-use website, nestbedding.com. That's nestbedding.com. Green and Gold fans, use the coupon code Oakland and you get 10% off your entire order. Nest Bedding, love where you sleep.
A's Cast Live continues from the town. Here's Chris Townsend.
Yeah, that was really cool. To think that everything that he's gone through to get to here, to be a part of this. And I know we're going to say it again. We did it yesterday. We did it last year. We'll do it again for the next couple hours. Just how special the opportunity is to come down for these men and women and experience everything that they're experiencing. It's more than just baseball. It becomes like a brotherhood. And I know if I said that without if I said that without ever coming down here, I would probably roll my eyes, be like, oh, they're making me say it. But it's once you're down here and you feel it and you see it and you experience it, you now understand it. You understand why there's people that have been doing this for 14 years, 10 years, then it's 5 years. You understand. And all the campers are coming out of lunch right now. They played games this morning. They're going to play games this afternoon. And then, of course, probably one of the best parts about the camp beyond playing, the A's dentist. Here's the A's dentist walking. I got to meet the A's dentist last night as we were down there. Well, you guys got a little rowdy. Let's be honest. You got a little loud.
I was talking to Ash the whole time. That was the rest of the crew.
Doc, the A's dentist, and I got to hang out, and he was telling me stories. So now, some might say I delve into the A's a little too much, that I'm too into covering everything and knowing everything. I now know who has the good and bad dental hygiene of the A's now. I can now look at a player and go, bro, you got to floss and brush a little more.
That should be like a scoreboard segment, like in between innings. Good teeth, bad teeth.
It's like, hey, bro.
Brought to you by Crest.
Mixing a toothbrush. How about that? No, but the Ace.
Brought to you by Listerine.
Hey, John Levine and Dave Sick, my two good buddies I played baseball with at San Jose State, both work for Procter & Gamble. You want Crest sponsorship? I can get it. I can get us toilet paper. I can get Procter & Gamble, whatever you need. They make it. I can get us a sponsorship.
That should be your first question to Nick Allen. So how are your teeth?
Yeah. Do you need some Tide? What do you need, Nick? I can get you whatever kind of sponsorship. Yeah. Well,
use Tide Pods, not the other ones.
Think of everything Procter & Gamble does and what they make, and that's everything in your grocery store. All your needs. You need whitening strips. I can make it happen.
Well, see that, but we just found our new score. Justin Marshall, if you're listening, look, we just gave you content for all season long.
You need toilet paper. You need to wipe. I'm your guy. So yeah, but that's what the last night was sitting around. I got to meet the A's dentist.
Dave was his name, right?
I just called him Doc. I don't. Yeah. I mean, maybe you were on a. I have respect for the doctor and call him Doc. I wasn't going to be that formal. You were with Ash.
Ash and I were talking about.
Everybody's sitting around. Your Bobby Crosby's telling stories. Dallas Braden is being Dallas Braden. That's the other thing. Is you get to see Dallas Braden as after hours Dallas Braden.
Yeah.
You get to actually, you've heard about it. You know it happens. But then when you're down here, you get to actually live the after hours Dallas Braden.
Bobby Crosby very worried that I wasn't calling my wife after she said to please call me. He said, you should probably go call. I said, Bobby, everything's fine.
Okay. When Bobby Crosby is giving you advice, that's when you know. Remember, Bobby is great at baseball, man. Bobby is like 44 and single. So when Bobby Crosby's giving you advice, you know, yeah, you probably should take it.
Yeah. I called her, and what she said, why are you calling me? Hang out and party. So I did.
Is that what your wife said?
Yeah. She's like, well, call me before you go to bed. That one happened.
Yeah, but
you got the call now.
The sitting around at night, having some cocktails, and everybody, it's just it's you're joining a club. You're joining a club. It's not like a country club. It's not like a sorority or fraternity. You're joining a club. There's a lot of love around here, and I don't throw that word around much. But there is a lot of love, and these people all check in with each other during the year. How are families doing and everything? You get to know families because once you start coming, next thing you know, wives and husbands come with you, kids come with you. It's really it becomes a family affair.
LTCE, love, trust, commitment, and effort.
Where is our guy? I'm in Arizona. I need to talk to my guy, my spiritual advisor. That's what we should start calling.
Has he come out of hiding yet? Remember that was his thing after the World Series. He was going to disappear and be alone.
Torey Lovullo was going to disappear.
Remember he said he wanted to go camping and just be by himself. And I get it because they was lost in the World Series, and then they had a great year to get there. And then he was great after the game talking about it. He's very good at appealing to everyone and showing his emotions. That's why I respect him so much for what he does off the field when he talks to the media, he's very open, and that's why I think a lot of people appreciate what he does.
You know, we may need to, because obviously things have changed for him, at least for this next coming season. Access to him is going to be harder. It may be one of those where A's Cast may have to hit the road real quick and go over to D-backs camp just to interview him. Say, hey, we'll come over real quick, set up our cameras, and he'd probably do it.
Yeah, I mean,
but you just lining him up, it might because we're coming to spring, but we're gonna be here early so we can talk. I mean, we're gonna get an interview with every guy on the 40-man roster. See, so we're not gonna come because we'll be on the air back in the Bay Area before all the spring training games, right? Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
So we're going to come down here before games so we can talk to everybody. Because that part of the problem is that we've run into is that we get down here right before games are supposed to start. And then there's very key minor league guys like, let's say, Zack Gelof, who's now gone.
Yeah.
And we don't get to talk to Zack Gelof. We're like, well, where'd he go? He's like, well, he's gone. Well, go get him. And they go, no. And then we don't get to get him. So, being down here, we're going to get all the key players that we're going to need from the big league standpoint down through the top prospect standpoint. Because it's been a while. Like, let's say Max Muncy 2.0. We haven't talked to Max Muncy since he was drafted. I'd like to talk to Max Muncy 2.0 and see how he's doing.
Yeah, by the way, I just looked at our schedule. Our third spring training game, second home game, is against Arizona on Monday the 26th.
We're not down here?
No, we'll be gone, but we can secure Tori over video. The D-backs told me to reach out during spring.
I'll be here. I'll be here.
Oh, there you go. Then you have to go talk to him.
I'm going to have to effort. I will effort my own deal to get Tori.
Well, you'll have the technology, so we can figure it out.
Yeah, we're going to get Tori on. There's no doubt about that. But yeah, fantasy camp, obviously very special. Quickly, we're going to have Nick Allen coming on here at 2.
Yeah.
Or it would be 1:00 your time.
Yeah. Quickly, if you want tickets for spring training, all tickets available at athletics.com/spring. First game, February 24th against Bud Black and the Rockies.
And breaking news in the world of sports. Whenever we're on, we like to keep you also updated. That goes back to our sports talk days. Alabama, as Keith Jackson used to say, has a new football coach since Nick Saban stepped down.
So it's not Harbaugh?
I was told last night and at lunch that Harbaugh was going to be the Alabama coach, and I said, you have a better chance of seeing Jesus, and no one believed me, and I told you there's no way that was going to happen. Harbaugh will not be the next Alabama coach.
Correct. But the new coach is the great Kalen DeBoer, the head coach was the head coach at the University of Washington, just lost in the national championship game to the aforementioned Jim Harbaugh, used to be at Fresno State. So now he is the new head coach at Alabama, as Nick Saban has retired from the game of football.
He has no Alabama ties.
Not that I know of. I don't know what his deal is either, but because we saw all this stuff coming out about college football, guys being rumored for it. Mike Norvell, who coaches at Florida State, just re-upped and signed to stay with Florida State. Who was it? Dan Lanning, who was at Oregon. He's staying at Oregon now. So
Coach Sark at Texas, because he was an offensive coordinator there.
Lane Train.
Lance Kiffin. You know him as Lane. There was no chance Lane Kiffin was going to be the head coach at Alabama. None.
He's building a bully at Ole Miss. It's fine.
There was no way Lane Kiffin. All right, so got a new head coach at the University of Alabama. Good for them. Back to Joe Mauer.
Oh.
And I'm going off our boss, Dallaire. Dallaire is a small hall guy, so am I. And I think we should judge these guys a little bit harsher. And like when he was talking last night, we were talking about some players. And, when you talk about some of the guys that barely got in back in the day, it was harsh the way we judged these guys. And I think if you went on that kind of curve, Joe Mauer would not be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Oh, no. I don't think he's going to be first ballot this time anyway.
Burt Blyleven, Blyleven, who's you're talking about. And Burt Blyleven, there was a lot of people who are like, Burt Blyleven didn't win 300 games. Burt Blyleven should not be in the Hall of Fame. And you go, he got in on the 15th try, right? It was 15th?
Yes, it was the last ballot.
Don't quote me on that.
It was the last ballot, though. I think he got in.
Was it? So that would have been 15. And then you go, well, what was his WAR? Had to be really low. Right? His WAR was 94.5.
Yeah, that's not low.
Mussina got in with a 70.
Yeah, and he never won a Cy Young or World Series.
He won 287 games. He's a two-time World Series champion. I mean, it was like Burt Blyland has over 3,000. He's got almost 4,000 strikeouts.
Yeah, Mussina didn't. I don't think Mussina has that or 300 wins or a Cy Young, and he got in. Did he get in on the first ballot, Mussina?
I don't think so. I wasn't know if it was the first ballot. But yeah, you look at Burt Blyleven's career, and he couldn't get in, and you're going to throw Joe Mauer in like it's nothing? Joe Mauer, let's face it, a lot of his career was at first base. And if you judge his numbers at first base, that's not even sniffing Hall of Fame.
No, he was on first ballot. He retired in 2009. His last year was 2008, right before they won the World Series the next year, the Yankees. He got in 2019, so 11 years after he was done. So, yeah, it was not first ballot.
So do you understand where I'm going with Mauer? Where's that? Here, put that list back up in front of where you had that list up.
Oh.
So, yeah, when you look at Mauer, I get it. I get the first part of it as a catcher. The batting titles, no question. The MVP, no question. But the thing about the Hall of Fame is sustained. And I know you could say that 10-year window, but a lot of his career was at first base, DH, and it was not. He was there because he had a contract. Sorry. So, I mean, I understand he's going to get in. I don't have a problem with getting in. I'm just saying if we're going to look from a small hall, there's a Todd Helton is 82 point, trending at 82.8. Delaire, yes, I got his phone. Tell Delaire, yes, I have his phone. He's texting you.
Oh.
Tell him yes.
Yes. Yeah.
So I love Todd Helton. I think Todd Helton was a flat-out gamer.
Great quarterback at Tennessee.
Great backup quarterback to Peyton Manning. You look at Todd, and the thing is, you can look at his road splits. And that's where I think a lot of uneducated people don't. Well, first of all, I understand, and part of it is from the time my days working in football and knowing in the NFL, and you could say the same thing in basketball, listening to people talk about how hard it is to play in altitude, how hard it is. There's a reason why boxers go to altitude to train. And it is really hard to play in altitude on a consistent basis. By the way, Hall of Famer Tony La Russa is here. Tony La Russa is here talking with Dave Stewart right now.
Oh, yeah. I saw him in Nashville.
See the kind of people you run into at fantasy camp? Tony La Russa's here. So playing in altitude's rough. Injury, all the different things you got to go through, it is hard. And it's hard to play. Well, I don't care what sport it is. And the hockey guys will tell you the same thing. And then you got to go back down to sea level. I mean, you're a mile high up. You're living a mile high up. You're playing in a mile high up. And then now you got to go down to sea level. But you go to Todd Helton's road numbers, and Todd Helton's road numbers are better than a lot of Hall of Famers' road numbers, no matter where they play. His road numbers stack up to guys that are in the Baseball Hall of Fame, their road numbers. It's like the judgment on Todd Helton is unbelievable.
He had like 287 on the road, right? Something like that?
Yeah, it's legit, his road numbers. 316 average, 1,400 RBIs, 1,400 runs scored, an OPS of 953. Yeah, there he is. There's my man. We call him Nicky Pie Shop these days, but Nick Allen is with us, the starting shortstop for your Oakland Athletics. And it's great that people get to see you, because people will be wondering, what are our guys doing in the offseason?
Yeah.
It shows exactly what you're doing. You're here busting your behind.
I am. Yeah, I just showered up, but got done with a good day. Got a great workout in, and then got some grounders and hitting the cage. So, no, we're getting good workout. I mean, what can't you not love about being out here? You know, you got sun and 4 baseball fields to just try to use.
So you're here like every day.
Mostly, yeah. The days that I put into my schedule to be here, I am here. So, and I'm just trying to make the most out of it. You know, you get this short window to make the most out of your career. So I'm just trying my best right now.
So when the season ended, and I know we'll get into it. You had a busy off season, you got married and everything, but from a standpoint of working out, because last year was your first in the big leagues, played a lot. When did you say, I need time, and then I need to get it going again?
Well, I think the first week of the off season was kind of just see family again, because we finished in Anaheim, so we went back down to San Diego, and I got to see family, cousins, all in that, and then just kind of start setting up things for the wedding in a sense. But the next week I came back out here to Arizona, and I wanted to get after it because I knew November would be a busy month for me. So I just I started working out, getting back with Cuffy, our strength coach, and then I started doing stuff at Driveline, hitting wise, and I just spent that whole month just trying to get myself better to where I knew I was going to take some time off in November. I wouldn't be sitting there like, oh gosh, what am I doing? This is usually when I start, but I wanted to make sure I spent the time, with my wife and spend that time with her and just enjoy being off. So I knew October was a big month for me to try to get after it.
Yeah, when you get married, you do have to have a little time for the wife.
Yes.
It kind of works that way. All right, how'd the wedding go? Honeymoon, we do all that. How was it?
Yeah, wedding was amazing. Couldn't have been better. I mean, just having family and friends there was just like a party. So it was awesome. And then we went to New Zealand and Australia for our honeymoon. So we got a little bit of tropical in Australia on Hamilton Island. And then we kind of got into more just adventure and stuff in New Zealand, just a little cooler weather, but it was more sightseeing and whatnot. So,
all right. So then you have the holidays and you come back and it's gung ho because, I mean, for you, this is a monster year for your career.
Oh, 100%. I think, every day I have built in to try to in my routine to treat every day the same, just not make a certain thing too big. But no, I definitely think that it's time for me to start showing what I can do and not to put pressure on myself, but just keep going and keep trying to play winning baseball and try to help the A's win any way I can.
So when you say you went to Driveline, obviously when we take off and you're going to leave like this complex and you're going to go somewhere else, what are you trying to accomplish? What were the goals? What did you learn while you were there?
I just learned the things that, I was a very handsy hitter, not really using my lower half the right way. And so I took a lot of that information and just try to get better with it there. But then now I'm doing it here at the complex, and I'm working with Tim Esme right now. He'll be one of our AZL managers here, but he's in here every day. And I just been working with him just to try to make sure it fits into my game. Having, not trying to get too big, but also, be strong with my lower half and making sure that the barrel gets to that baseball. So, outside pitches, I'm not like fouling it off or whatnot, but that barrel's getting there. And then I'm also just staying true to my game. Just a lot of hard line drives. So Driveline showed me some things that I need to work on, and then now I'm just working on them here.
Yeah, because we've always heard so much about Driveline, and we know about it with a lot with pitching, right? Guys are going to Driveline to throw harder. Yeah. So take us through the process of a hitter when we're using technology, which Driveline does. Like, how are we learning to separate the upper body from the lower body to, because a lot of people the ground is leverage for us. A lot of people don't understand that. We understand from a pitcher uses the mound to drive, but flat ground, we don't think about that. We don't think even like hockey players using the ice as leverage. I know more about it from my golf now to where I'm trying to, as an old man, trying to hit it way farther than I used to, but we use the ground as leverage, and that we're using a lot of that we're figuring out. And I'm sure those are kind of the things that you dealt with at Driveline.
Yeah, 100%. I think right when I first got in there, they had me hooked up to all these certain things, and then it was like a motion capture lab. And then after like a couple days later, they had this full report for you, and you get to see, I saw all that. I have a tendency of jumping forward, and my front hip is just not giving me time to clear. So I was basically just a torso hitter and a handsy hitter. And so, I had to clean that up. And then I redid a mocap a couple days ago, and definitely some numbers jumped up there in a better way for me. And so now I'm just trying to keep that going in a positive way, and especially with trying to reel it into the hitter that I know I need to be, in a sense. So so it's all going in the right direction, and just got to keep working.
Because speed is your game. Line drives is your game. Doubles.
Yeah. Hard hit balls, low line drives, balls in the gap. If I leave the yard, I leave the yard, and that's just, it happens. I'm not trying to do that. I don't want to do that, but I know I can go pull side. But my game is to get on base and touch home plate as much as I possibly can. And I definitely know that, and that's what I want to do.
Now, defensively, obviously, the hands, you got it all. Are there things that you work on to get better at, or is it really is at a point let's just refine what we got?
Yeah, it's keep getting better. I mean, today, I was out there with Tim and Benji, and we were today we worked on, a couple backhand stuff, and I realized that I can definitely get to a certain spot better. And I was like, damn, like that's something that I felt like I really could have been better at last year too. And also being like, I had a couple times where I wasn't really getting to the left of the baseball, and then I'd get big with my right leg. And that just was, I felt like I wasn't athletic. So today we were just working on a couple things like that, and there's always room for improvement. And I know I can keep getting better because I know the feelings that I want, and I know sometimes last year I never felt those things. So I'm just working back at it this year to keep getting better. And I know there's more in the tank for sure.
How many of the guys are down here working out with you on a regular basis?
There's there's not been a crazy amount of people in here, but we got Cooper Bowman in here. He's rehabbing, but he's getting after it every day. He's obviously a great player. Max Muncy's been in. And it's kind of been more closed off this year because I think they had this weird rule with the minor leagues to where if you're not on the 40-man roster or whatnot, you're not like talking to the team for like
new CBA rules then, huh?
CBA.
Yeah.
So that's been kind of a little bit weird, but no, I've been in. I've just been trying to get the most out of it. We got all the strength coaches in there and trainers that have been very helpful this offseason. So can't thank them enough, and also can't thank Tim Esme enough for being out here and spending this time getting out to here. And now Benji's coming out every day. So it's been awesome.
January 11th. It's going to be here before you know it.
Yeah.
Is it kind of one of those where you're chomping? I mean, if you're here every day or you're here most days, you're ready to rock.
Definitely chomping at the bit, but I know, you got to make the most out of just enjoying the time off. But I know I'm working hard, and I just want to see that into action for sure.
How much have you been in contact with your fellow players?
Just texts here and there. I've gone through some texts with Noda just on some swing stuff, and just shooting a little text maybe here and there with Gelof. And then obviously I talk to Jonah Bride probably all the time. But yeah, I think everyone's having. It seems like everyone's getting married this off season, so everyone's. But that's good. I mean, maybe we were all worried about that last year, getting the plans and set, trying to, obviously our wives put a lot of effort into that, and we were just trying to help out where we could. But
they try and say you're not going to be involved, but you're involved.
We're involved.
We're involved. And I know mine was years ago, but I remember it's like, oh no, I'll just I'll make everything happen. And then it's all, what about the caterer? What about the photographer? What about the band? What about that? It's like, I thought you said I'll be there. You wish you could just say, I'll be there, make it happen. It doesn't work that way. Well, I just want a bunch of you guys to show up, and I want you to say, we're not going through another year like last year. That sucked. Sucked for all of us, right? Like that can't happen again.
I know. I mean, Rooker came to Gelof and I a little bit, last year, but he was just like, we can't do this again. We got to find a way to really work our, tails off to get better and put us in a better position. And then, Zach and I always talk about, we were like, sink or swim, especially in our division, so we got to find a way to make it happen. Else, it doesn't happen. So that's just I think that's hopefully going to be our motto, but we just got to obviously take it day by day and just keep getting better.
Gelof is extremely talented.
Very talented.
And we kept hearing it.
Yeah.
So when we saw him, we went and checked him out in San Jose when he came with the Ports. He was a third baseman, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he gets hurt and he's a second baseman. But now we've seen it. Just talk about, you guys knew it.
Yeah.
We've now seen it. He's a special cat.
No, 100%. I mean, I played with him. He actually got called up when I was in AAA. We needed players, some extra players. And this was in 21, and he just got drafted, and he was here, I think, in Instructs. And so they had him come up for AAA, and he had like about a week with us, and he was doing really well and just really held his own. So you just knew from there, this guy's going to be really good. And then obviously spent some time with him again in AAA this year. I mean, the guy just works his tail off, and then he gets to the big leagues and he shows off. He does his thing. So no surprise there. No surprise that he's going to be a great player in this game. It's fun going to the ballpark with him and just seeing his energy that he brings. It's inspiring for sure.
Well, and you mentioned Noda. We're going to have him on today, and we're going to have Gelof on today after you. Man, talk about proving yourself as a Rule 5 guy. Noda went from he's interesting to where I'm watching him going, I want to see him play every day, to he's our starting first baseman. Let's stop screwing around, to where now I know for a fact people are calling for him at the trading deadline, and the A's said no. To go from a Rule 5 guy that, well, he's got to be on the team because he didn't have that great of a spring, right? But all of a sudden, he starts getting on base, and he shows you how big and athletic and how good he is defensively. He goes from got to be here to all of a sudden teams are calling to trade for him. That tells you a lot about how good Ryan Noda is.
Well, it's another guy like that. I mean, both these guys, Zach and Ryan, they have this just thing about them where they go about their business just the right way. And so for Ryan to have the season he did is no surprise to me. I just kind of really started to get to know him last year. And you can see when he gets up to plate, man, it doesn't matter who he's facing. He digs in, and he's going to dig in against the best. And he's going to, if you're not throwing it where I want it, I'm not swinging, and it's probably going to be a ball, and he's ready to hit in the zone no matter what. So, I mean, this guy, he's very talented, really good defensively. I love having him. He can pick it. So I know if there's a little safety net for me a little bit, but I try to give him the best throws I could possibly can. But he's very talented, and I wouldn't be surprised if, this guy is just obviously putting up amazing numbers this year.
And there is that major comfort, too, as an infielder, when you know your guy can pick it, that you can take some chances.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's definitely nice having him over there. He's just an awesome guy. So it's fun being around him. It's fun, the energy that he brings as well. So right now, those two guys that you just brought up they're obviously amazing. We got a lot of great guys on this team, but those two guys are definitely spark plugs for sure.
All right. There's been a lot of talk, Cody, about what the nickname should be for Nick Allen, right? There's been, we floated Nicky Pickett, Nicky, there's all kinds of Nicky hit it out, Nicky stick it, Nicky. I mean, there's all kinds. We like Nicky Pie Shop.
I like that.
We got to
not?
You got to realize he grew up going to the original, our family restaurant, the San Diego Chicken Pie Shop.
I had birthdays there, literally.
So
when I was like 7 years old, I was like, let's just go to Chicken Pie Shop. I love it.
Yeah. So he's been going to the family restaurant. So now we have it in Walnut Creek, the Chicken Pie Shop in Walnut Creek. Now he's a fan of the Chicken Pie Shop in Walnut Creek.
100%. Yeah.
So that's why we had Nicky Pie Shop. We're gonna have to get you just endless free food and endless free whatever you need.
I'm just happy to be there.
Well, I've said it before. I grew up with his family. Going to church with your grandparents, going to school with your mom and your aunt, and your dad went to the same high school. Yeah. Your dad's a little older, so we never. When your dad was leaving, I was coming in. But obviously, the connection with your family, and we've been rooting for you, and to watch you grow has been great. And congratulations on getting married.
Thank you. Yeah.
Do you feel like a grown up now?
A little bit more.
It's a different ball game, huh?
Yeah, but still got to be like a kid out in the baseball field. So, but I definitely feel like there's I'm just blessed with what's going on right now. So
this is your year. Like, this is it, right? You had your taste, and that's what everybody's always said. The gallon goes up, you just got to figure it out. And once you figures it out, boom, this is the year for you.
Take it one day at a time, but that's my freaking goal. Yeah, for sure.
All right, enjoy the rest of the
Thank
off
you.
season, my man. And
Thank
when
you.
we see you next, we'll be at spring training.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
The starting shortstop for your Oakland Athletics right here on A's Cast Live. This is Chris Townsend and Commander Cody for Link Soul. You got to go to their website right now, linksoul.com. The new polos are unbelievable. New colors, lighter weight. We got our new summer shipment, Cody.
I couldn't be happier. I look better. All thanks to Link Soul.
So we're talking about new polos. You can check out their shorts. Anything you need for summer, they have it right now. When you go to their website, they've got a smoking summer deal. Go to linksoul.com. That's linksoul.com.
It's almost that time again, A's fans. Spring training will be here before you know it, and the Oakland Athletics will be celebrating 10 years at Ho-Ho-Cam Stadium. Now's the time to make plans to catch us in Mesa, Arizona, starting on February 24th, and enjoy the sunshine of your family and friends.
Lawrence Butler, it's a fly ball to left field that's deep. Has a chance opposite field, home run, Lawrence Butler.
Grab your tickets early for the best seats at the lowest prices as your green and gold take on the Giants, Padres, Cubs, Angels, and more at Ho-Ho-Cam Stadium. Don't wait. Get your tickets at athletics.com/spring. That's athletics.com/spring.
Former Rockies GM and MLB Network analyst Dan O'Dowd joined A's Cast Live for the winter meetings in Nashville and commended David Forst on the job he's done with the A's.
I mean, I've gone through some major rebuilding jobs, but there was always light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, the thing that always blew me away by the job that Billy and David had done for so many years is knowing that the stadium issue had this dark cloud hanging over their head. And that, there's so many ups and downs emotionally attached to that. Like in Cleveland, to give you an example, when we went through that massive rebuild in the 90s, we knew that Jacobs Field was coming in 1994. So the pain of all those losses in 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, but we saw light at the end of the tunnel, and we could see the talent we were collecting. I can't imagine what it'd be like showing up every single day with that pressure on you, but no light at the end of the tunnel. That would have been emotionally really hard because, I mean, all the people that do these jobs, they're competitive people. And even if you're realistic about your opportunities to win, it doesn't make the losses any less painful. And the disappointments of, a deal that doesn't work out or a player you draft that doesn't get over the hump at the big league level, it just takes an emotional toll on you over a period of time. And it's really hard to maintain any kind of optimism about the future. These are really, really hard jobs. And I really feel for what David's trying to do. I think David's personality has a better chance to handling it than maybe mine's did or even Billy's did, because I think we are wired a little bit tighter. I think David's got a way of putting things in perspective exceptionally well. And I think that behooves him to be able to survive this period of time and start to see all the good things that are happening in the AIDS organization, because I think there are. It's just you don't necessarily see it just yet at the big league level.
You can watch the full interview at youtube.com/athletics or listen at athletics.com/A'sCast.
Hey, it's Eno Saris, your friendly neighborhood baseball scribe. There are two things I love, baseball and beer. When I'm not busy around the ballpark, you'll likely catch me back with a cold one at any of Fieldwork Brewing's 8 locations sprinkled across the Bay Area. Fieldwork's got a rotating lineup of over 20 beers on tap that's as diverse as any 26-man roster. They got everything from super juicy hazy IPAs to crisp pilsners and tropical sours that make your taste buds do the wave. Whether you're all about that draft life or prefer to grab some cans to go, Fieldwork's got your bases covered. Check them out at fieldworkbrewing.com to learn more. That's fieldworkbrewing.com.
Thanks to the Xfinity 10G network, my little brother's friends won't leave our house. When I was their age, internet with basically no interruptions was a pipe dream.
You sound like my grandpa.
Now through December 21st, new customers can get 1.2 gigabit internet for $25 a month for 2 years with no annual contract and Wi-Fi equipment included when you add Xfinity Mobile with unlimited data at regular rates. Switch today. Requires paperless bill and auto-pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. Xfinity Mobile requires Xfinity internet. After promo, regular rates applied internet service and Wi-Fi equipment. Actual speeds vary.
If you're looking for a new mattress, Nest Bedding has you covered. Sleep on the same mattress Hall of Famer Ricky Henderson sleeps on. Nest Bedding is the #1 brand of online mattresses and the Bay Area's favorite mattress store. Take home the Easy Breather pillow. The New York Times calls it their #1 pick. You can navigate their easy-to-use website, nestbedding.com, nestbetting.com. That's nestbetting.com. Green and Gold fans, use the coupon code Oakland and you get 10% off your entire order. Nest Betting, love where you sleep.
Former Rookie of the Year and A's first base coach Bobby Crosby joined A's Cast Live to talk about his growth as a manager at Midland.
I wouldn't say there's a lot except for just learning the game more. I mean, there's always different personalities that you're going to get. You talked about Wash. A lot of the stuff I do came from him. It's a passion. It's about the players. It's not about myself. I had my time playing. That was great. Now it's about them. So I pour everything into them. What do they need? It's not about what I need. And I've tried to do that from when I first started coaching. Managing, there's always, there's different facets of the game. The running game, which I really didn't have to worry about as a shortstop that I've learned. And you get different personalities. Last year we had a tight-knit group that knew each other because there was a lot of repeat guys. And this year we've had, uber talented guys come up, but they weren't a part of that same group. So it's how do we form these guys into all believing the same thing and being under the same umbrella and believing in each other. So there's always certain different things that are going to come up that are going to help me grow as a coach. Whatever happens with me coaching wise, that's great. And I would love to coach in the big leagues and manage in the big leagues. And I think that'd be a blast.
You can watch the full interview at youtube.com/athletics or listen at athletics.com/A'sCast.
This is Chris Townsend, and if you're looking for a great place to eat and watch games, go see my friends at the Chicken Pie Shop at Walnut Creek. The Chicken Pie Shop is one of the hottest restaurants in Walnut Creek. You're not going to find a better menu, and come try their world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 86 years. Spacious indoor and outdoor dining, perfect for your next private party or corporate event. Don't forget free parking. For more information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
Nestled in the hills of San Jose, minutes from Silicon Valley, Cinnabar Hills Golf Club offers 27 holes of championship golf, a first-class pro shop, practice facility, and great food in the grill. This time of year also means family and business get-togethers. Let the folks at Cinnabar Hills make your event unforgettable while enjoying their award-winning venue. It's all there for you. Championship golf, a great space for any events, and incredible food. See it all at CinnabarHills.com. That's CinnabarHills.com.
Hey, Billy. This deck is great for getting everyone together. Thanks. We're really enjoying the outdoor space, especially on a day like today. What's the material? Humboldt Redwood from Ashby Lumber. They gave us a great deal, provided us with a quick quote, and we couldn't be happier. We even found a great contractor through their online contractor directory.
Don't miss a day outdoors. Visit Ashby Lumber in Berkeley or Concord to see our stock of naturally strong, naturally beautiful Humboldt Redwood. Find out more at ashbylumber.com for all your building needs. Ashby Lumber.
Unlock offers and receive exclusive in-game features by downloading the MLB Ballpark app for iPhone and Android today. Plus, get the latest information on game times, schedules, and more.
Streaming from the town, A's Cast Live continues with Chris Townsend.
I've been asked, do we have a guest at 2:30?
Yeah, Ryan Noda.
Oh, beautiful. There's all kinds of luminaries here right now. You've got the Hall of Fame. You got Hall of Famers here. A's Hall of Famers / Baseball Hall of Famers. Tony La Russa, have you heard of him?
That's my good friend.
Steve Vucinich, A's Hall of Famers here.
I didn't see Vus, but I figured he'd be here
Vus just
eventually.
walked up. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of high rollers you get to see when you're around here. And a great to see Nick. By the way, we just had a long conversation off the air with Nick Allen. And I hate to say these kinds of things because they can come back because you're saying it on air and on video so people can cut it up and throw it back at you. But I think we're going to be way better than people think.
I agree. I mean,
I'm just not saying that because I don't have, after you win, what do we win, 50 games last year?
50, yes.
Yeah, when you win 50 games, I could easily come on and say, we're going to be better, and better is 51.
Correct.
52.
I told you, Fangraphs has us at 73.
Yeah, by the way, your wind is starting to pop up a little bit. These guys, and I knew it by talking to them last year, that these guys did not like. They did not. It was a young group, and these guys, they got tired of getting crapped on. They got tired of it. They really, really did. And talking to Nick and as he talks to Gelof and he talks to Noda, and we're going to talk to Ryan Noda here in 5 minutes, a bunch of these guys are like, yeah, this is not acceptable. Pitching has a lot to do with it. We talk about it, 4,374, I think is the number.
That's correct, yes.
How many outs you got to get in a season and how many innings and all that. But from a position player's standpoint, the A's are going to be better. The A's are going to be a better team. And I'm just not going to do the joke, they got to win 55 games. They're going to be better. And it's going to be interesting. And I think it's going to be far more exciting. Far more. It'll be a far more entertaining brand because right now, the way everything's being covered, anything you say, nobody's going to care. Everybody's going to hate on it. And it's not until these guys prove it. It won't be until these guys go out there and start winning some of those close games that they lost, start putting some teams away, start getting on top of teams, start showing their athleticism. It's not until they start doing it will people have to start recognizing it. Till then, no one's going to listen. But that's all right. That's the process that we're in. That's the step we're in. They're going to go after, and even when they go out and start winning, there's still going to be a lot of chaos around it. But this team is going to be better, and it's going to be far more entertaining than it was last year.
Yeah, I think I'm most excited for what's happening with the starting pitchers and who's going to be the guys that we know we're not getting 5, but we know we're going to have probably closer to 10 to 15 different traditional starting pitchers, because I'm not going to say
you went traditional.
Yeah, so a Mitch Spence. What does Luis Medina take a step forward? How does Waldo Chuck look when he comes back, because he's had surgery this offseason? The growth of J.P. Sears, Paulie Winday, Paul Blackburn. Does he come back to the form he had in 2022 when he was an All-Star? There's a lot of interesting pieces on this team to pay attention to. Yes, selfishly, I want to see if Mason Miller turns into a great closer, like I followed all along with Josh Hader. But there's a lot of things to look forward to with this team, because the team is so young. It's not like we're bringing in a team that won 50 games with a bunch of veteran players that that are still here. It's a really young team. The oldest players on the team are Seth Brown and Brent Rooker. Oh, Aletmus. Forgot Aletmus too.
Well, that's old.
Yeah, those are the three.
You
old
want
guys.
old? We got some old. We definitely got some old.
But in the pitching staff, all the guys are young. Newly signed Trevor Gott might be one of the oldest guys in the pitching staff now, like him and Paulie Winday.
Well, how do you not look at the way the season ended last year, and look at Joe Boyle, look at Joey Estes, and you go, okay, there's something there. I'm not sure when Freddie Tarnok is going to be, but Freddie Tarnok came over from the Braves. Freddie Tarnok looks like he's got something, but I'm looking from a position player standpoint, gonna be better. Yeah. They're gonna be far better. I can't wait to see, and I don't want to put too much on Gelof, but I already know, and you're going to hear from Noda, he oozes confidence. Noda's going to be ready to rock. And you look at Gelof, and if Nick Allen, what he's worked on this offseason really works and he gets more offensive, I think the outfielders are going to hit. We already know they're athletic. This is a far more athletic team than we've seen in years.
And it's something the team needs. I mean, we're seeing a lot more athletic players in the game.
And when the team was winning in 19 and 18 and 19, winning 97 games, that team was a really athletic team. And that team was really good defensively. So if you get back to playing good defense and you're an athletic team, you got a chance. When you're a good athletic team and you play defense and you get some starting pitching, you've got a chance. And all of a sudden those wins start to mount and you start to get confidence. It doesn't matter what any of the guys on MLB.com or ESPN.com or The Athletic, and they've got to do all their lists and, they got to do all their projections, and all that stuff doesn't mean anything. It entertains us, but none of it means anything, because when they're wrong, a lot of them don't admit it. They don't admit that they're wrong. Look at how many projections, how many people had the For example, how many people had the D-backs in the World Series?
I don't think anyone did. Started the season? No. We knew they were going to get better, but I don't think people thought they were going to be in the World Series against Texas. I don't know how many people had Texas in the World Series.
No.
It was all Yankees, Dodgers World Series.
I mean, and to think how Texas in the end crapped the bed to just be in the playoffs. Like, they were a team that you thought should have won the division. They crapped the bed. They got to take the long flight to Tampa. You would have not put your money on Texas. Or the last weekend was a disaster. What? Texas loses 2 out of 3, loses the division in Seattle, and Houston sweeps the D-backs.
Correct, and they won the division.
Think about that. The D-backs got swept their last weekend. They looked horrible. They won only 84 games, and Texas ends up crapping the bed in the end, and both these teams end up in the World Series.
Yeah, but by the way, notice here.
Which camera are we going through? Where's my man Ryan Noda? Noda, how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
You know what? We got down to the facility for fantasy camp, and I got to tell you, we were in Nashville for the winter meetings. That was great, but it's great to finally be back in Arizona, and it's making me miss baseball. We're missing you. We're missing baseball. You've got to be chomping at the bit right now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely chomping at the bit for sure. It's funny you say that. I'm actually in Nashville now. Got here in January. It's a little bit warmer here than it is in Cincinnati to train and get everything I need to get done before spring starts.
So what was this offseason like for you now that you've established yourself as a big leaguer? What were like the main things you felt like this is what I need to do?
I was just able to eat better, eat right, and just have enough time in the day to go and recover and get everything I need to do to get my body right to come into spring training ready to go.
Yeah, that was a big thing for you. I remember we talked in the off season. But what essentially anything like swing wise? Have you worked on anything like mechanics wise with that?
Yeah, definitely. Just trying to get more consistent. Staying short and to the ball. I got with Bushy a couple times, had some calls with him, and just going through little adjustments need to make just so I can be more consistent and help the ball club out.
What was it like from a mental standpoint to go through this off season, not being a Rule 5 guy, not being a minor leaguer with the Dodgers, but knowing that you're a true bona fide Major League Baseball player? What was that like from a mental standpoint?
It was good. It just means that I had to put my head down and work even harder. And, I'm grateful for the opportunity I got last year, and, grateful for all the coaching staff and players around me to help get me better and, progress through the year. And I feel like that this next year is just another stepping stone for us, just to keep getting better, keep working, and showing people that we can actually come out and compete and, win a lot more ball games.
I know you proved to the baseball world, but what did last year prove to you?
Just that ever since I was 3, I always wanted to be a big leaguer, just like everybody else on that field. And, just being able to, first get that first hit and go from there, it just really solidified that, I belong and I can do something in this game and, hopefully help lead the team and just become an even better person and player.
Was there ever a point? What was the point, though, where you said, yeah, I do belong? When did you finally feel last season like, yeah, I do belong here? I do belong in the big leagues?
I'd have to say the first homer. Yeah, that was definitely one moment where I was just like, all right, like it's the same game. So I just go out there and just give it your all and just be you.
Yeah, the thing that I really enjoyed, we just had Nick Allen on, is that this young group, and I know you guys have been texting each other this offseason, you got something here. You got this nucleus. Talk about this kind of bond that you guys are establishing, Gelof, a lot of the younger players, that leads me to believe that this upcoming season is going to be far better than what we saw last year.
Yeah, we saw it towards the end of the year and how, no matter how the season was going, the locker room was always good. The plane rides were always good, hotels, everything. we always started to hang out more towards the end of the year and just create a nice brotherhood and a bond. That's, what you need in this game. It takes a team to win. And I feel like we got the right guys, and I feel like we got the right people as just their personalities and how they go about their business and just wanting to win. So I think this year is going to be a good test to us, and, see how we come out and how much fire we bring. And, hopefully we surprise some people, and then hopefully it gets to a point where we're done surprising and people are known.
I got to ask you about Mitch Spence, who is the Rule 5 pick from the New York Yankees that the Athletics picked up in the Rule 5 draft at the winter meetings. We were there. We were trying to get the information out of David Force. He wouldn't give it to us, but we finally got to see the pick. It's not easy being a Rule 5 guy. Now that you have done it, will you pull him aside, have some conversations? Do you have, like, in the back of your mind, any advice you might have for him to get through spring training going into the year?
Yeah, I definitely can do that. I think last year spring training for myself, I put a little too much extra pressure on myself just to try to, prove that I belong. And, hopefully I've heard he's a good dude, and, we're happy about that. We have a lot of good dudes in the clubhouse, so he'll fit right in. And I'll definitely be there for him if he has any questions or needs any answers for how to deal with certain things coming to New York, because I've done that quite a bit. So I'll definitely be there to help him out when he needs it.
Yeah, people just don't understand. You're a unique guy when you're the Rule 5 guy. You're different from everybody else on the roster. Your situation is different from everybody's, and a lot of people don't think about that. Yeah, there is a lot of pressure when you get in this random draft that not a lot of people follow that happens at the winter meetings. People, most people don't see it because the media doesn't really cover it, but everybody in baseball goes into that part of the convention center, and all the GMs, all the assistant GMs, everybody goes in there. The Rule 5 draft's a big thing for front offices. For the rest of baseball, it isn't. And when you're that pick and you go to spring training, there is a lot of pressure because you're this one unique guy and you're not like anybody else.
Yeah, it's definitely a different aspect to the game, but I think it's good. I'm one of a handful of guys that have benefited from the Rule 5 draft, just being log jammed in a system that like the Dodgers were when I was there. And I think it's good for Spence, and it's good for our team. We're getting a nice righty that comes in and throws strikes, fills his zone up, and, it's going to be a bulldog on the mound. So I'm excited to get him in the clubhouse, and I think the guys are excited as well. And hopefully, we can have another good Rule 5 back-to-back years.
So last night, as everybody's sitting around here at fantasy camp and everybody's having drinks, I got to hang out with the dentist of the Oakland Athletics and the doctor that helped you. And he was, kind of talking about, wow, that was, people don't realize how scary your situation was with your broken jaw. Obviously you played one game through it. They didn't know yet. You hadn't had x-rays, but man, that's pretty scary what you went through. I don't think a lot of people understand what your situation was, what you're going through when you found out you had that broken jaw.
Yeah, it definitely was. Wasn't something you see every day in the baseball field. But something unfortunate that happened, but, got to have a good dentist to work on me and get me back into the game last year. And, it was definitely weird because, physically I felt perfectly fine, but, couldn't eat food, couldn't open my mouth. Definitely talking a lot better now, but, yeah, definitely, I grew up playing hockey.
Did you lose weight?
Yeah, I lost about, I think after all said and done, it was about 10 pounds.
Damn.
I was on a nice smoothie diet for a while, and it's a good thing I like smoothies, but it did get old. I would see steak and, good chicken and just some good food. I'd always just want to eat it. And I'm like, man, I think that was the toughest part.
God, you're in the clubhouse and they got Mexican food and they got steaks and you're sitting there going, another protein shake. That's gotta be brutal.
Yeah. And sometimes, we put some real food into the blender with some chicken broth so I can get a little taste of something. So, that was definitely different for me. I would not expect to have a broken jaw, in my baseball career, at least from something that wasn't a pitch up and in.
So just, what's been going on? Just let all the fans know. What have you been doing this off season when you've been away from baseball? What did Ryan know to do for a little fun during the holidays? And non-baseball wise, what's been going on in your life?
I'm trying to get into learning the piano. It's a lot harder than I was expecting. So we're getting there. A couple more years, I think I can, maybe show some skills off. But other than that, just hanging out with the family, girlfriend, it was a good time for us just to relax and have some, good dinners and see more family than I'm used to seeing. And that was a blessing.
Trying to learn the piano. I like that. A skill set as you're getting older. Yeah, the coolest thing about that is like someday you're going to be rolling in and there'll be a bunch of people and you'll be in this fancy hotel in a lobby and you can just get down and start and it'll be like one of the most impressive things. I've actually seen it happen before. Whenever the guy can roll out of nowhere and start playing piano, everybody always goes like, damn, you could be that guy.
And that actually happened when I was in AA with the Dodgers. Andre Jackson, we were in Wichita, and I was going out to get some breakfast, and all of a sudden I just hear the piano playing like in this little side room in the lobby. And I was like, who's playing? It actually sounds pretty good. So I walked back there and I was like, Andre? I was like, what? I'm like, so it was pretty sweet. And that kind of enticed me a little bit. And, this year I was like, you know what? I'm having a little bit more downtime than usual. Might as well learn something.
By the way, Lucas Ursig of your Oakland Athletics has just chimed in saying hello, by the way. Lucas, I hosted the 38th annual Santa Clara County Baseball Banquet where we honored him as Pitcher of the Year in Major League for Bay Area guys. He was Pitcher of the Year, so we just honored him. So, Lucas, if you're watching or you're listening, great to hear from you. It was great to see you the other night. And go ahead, Ryan, say hello to your teammate.
What's up, Urs? How we doing, baby?
He's a big part of what's going to, pitching, obviously, we're talking about a lot of you young guys, and I don't really see you as a young guy anymore, but there's a lot of young guys, and you guys are going to have to pull your weight, obviously, but the pitching's going to be interesting because guys like Lucas Ursig, and we were talking earlier about all the different potential guys who could be starting. You got a lot of good arms coming through the system right now.
Yeah, definitely. Lucas was a big part of our success when we had it last year. Get on the mound and being a Bulldog, and he's got a unique situation. He came up as a position player. So I'm still trying to get him in the cage once in a while to see if he can still has the swing. But, we love having him on the mound, and we do have a lot of other young guys that are coming up, and we saw some of them last year, and especially Boyle coming in and finishing strong last year when we got him. I'm excited to see what we got and, just keep rolling from there.
Let's end on this. Nick Allen said it, and then he really said it once he was off camera and we were done and we know you were coming up. He's like, we're going to be a lot better. And just talk about that, how you guys don't want to go through the same situation you went through last year, that there is something amongst all you guys that you're like, this year is going to be far better.
Yeah, no one likes to lose. I've always said it. I think I hate losing more than I like to win. So it definitely was a little tough last year in the beginning of the year, how we started, but the way we finished and how we competed against everybody, and especially guys or teams, I should say, that, made it far in the postseason and even won the World Series last year. We competed and won. So I think we all know what we can do and what we're capable of doing as long as we stick together, do the little things, and, just become the family that we became at the end of the year.
Great stuff. Always good to see you. Can't wait to see you at spring training. So be well, enjoy Nashville, and we'll see you in February down here in the Valley of the Sun.
Sounds good, Chris. Nice seeing you too.
Take care. The great Ryan Noda join us right here on A's Cast Live. And that guy, I'm not going to be shocked in the next couple of years if you see him in an all-star game. How about that?
I can see it. I mean, he's good defensively. He got better as the year went on.
What does he do?
He gets on base.
He gets on base at an extreme level. And then you start to he gets on base at an all-star level.
Yeah, as a first-year player.
Folks, he was leading the American League in on-base percentage. And there were times during the year he was top 5. Did he end up top 5?
And what? On base?
On base. He was leading the American League. And he's just started that one came close. He started feeling it with the bat, and obviously the broken jaw really hurt, but he started feeling it. If you start putting the power with the on base, you have and the defense, you have an all-star player.
Yeah, I'm looking right now at I'm looking at the American League on base percentage leaders. It's Noda was why is he not on here?
Are you in postseason?
No. It's regular season. Weird. I'm not on my actual computer. I have all the access to all the advanced stats where it's easier to find it.
All right, hold on. You just hold on. Ryan Noda.
He had a 364 on base.
He had 364 he had a 770 OPS in his first year.
Yeah. Yeah, for some reason he's not listed as maybe he didn't have enough qualified at bats. I don't know.
He had 406.
Oh, yeah.
So what is the leader?
The leader was in the American League, Shohei Ohtani was 412.
Okay, well.
Yeah, Yandy Diaz. Yandy Diaz had 410. He was pretty good too. Then Seager, J.P. Crawford, Adley Rutschman, all guys that had outstanding years last year.
Keep going down. He's at 364, so he would have been 8th.
He would have been tied with Randy.
Tied for 8th.
With Randy.
This is how good. Okay, once again, if you think I'm blowing smoke and you think, Towns is just being an ace homer, keep it right here. These are the guys. It's Ohtani, Diaz, Seager, Crawford, Rutschman, Tucker, Tristan Casas, who, by the way, he's a guy to watch out for with the Boston Red Sox, and Randy Rosarena. He would have been in the top 8, and that's with a broken jaw.
Yeah.
Because there was a point where he was leading when he was top 3 for a good point of the year. Now, I don't think he was going to stay up in the 400 range with Shohei Ohtani. That's how good of a player. He had 16 bombs in his first year.
He was 9th in walks in the American League, too.
So just think about this. He improves on that. You're talking 20-plus home runs, and you're talking one of the best on-base percentages in baseball. Don't tell me he can't be an all-star player.
No, definitely. I think you might be onto something. What is the one you made, the proclamation you made years ago about Matt Olson getting, is that Hall of Fame votes? I think we're
everybody was trying to Matt Chapman this, Matt Chapman that. I'm like, Matt Olson's a better player. See, that's what happens when you watch the team every day and you go, you guys are all loving, and I like Matt Chapman. I love that he was a tough guy who came and brought it every day. I love that, but I clearly was looking over going, Matt Olson is a better player. Even as Simeon got better, Matt Olson is a better player. Matt Olson was the best player we had. If you watch that team day in and day out, Matt Olson was the best player.
Yeah, and he was the best player.
He saved those guys' asses so many times with picks. It was unbelievable. Matt Olson was our best player. If you started watching last year and you know anything about baseball and you're watching it, you're going, okay, Ryan Noda, walk, base hit, walk. He keeps getting on base. Hey, he can pick it. He's actually pretty good defensively. You know what? He can run for a big man. What is he, 6'3", 220, something like that? He runs really well. You start to realize this guy can play. And then all of a sudden, then you start seeing the home runs, and you went, this is a real player here. And that's when I got tipped off that, yeah, he was one of we had a couple guys that were considered untouchable at the deadline. He was one of them. He went from a Rule 5 pick to untouchable, a team in rebuild mode. We're a team in rebuild mode. The key for this team, whether we want to hear it or not, the key for this team, what's smart business for this team, is to acquire. This is going to be highly unpopular. I get it. But I'm just going to give you reality, because sometimes you need reality, because there hasn't been a whole hell of a lot of reality. You're getting a lot of what people want to hear right now. You're getting misinformation. You're getting a lot of, this is reality. You need to build and find as many young, good players as possible. They're not all going to work out, but you need to find as many. This needs to be the Cleveland Indians model of the late 80s, early 90s, which we have talked to Dan O'Dowd about. John Hart has talked about it. This is old school baseball, I know, but in the late 80s, early 90s, when they knew Jacobs Field was going to be built, all they cared about was acquiring young talent. That's why they shipped off guys like Joe Carter, and they got as much young talent as they possibly could, so that when they do open their new building, these guys have matured, they're ready to go, and then you'll have the money to go buy free agents to go with them. That is the model, and that's where we are right now. And unfortunately, Noda is not a young guy.
Was he? Noda is
28?
Yeah,
he's not young.
He'll be 28 in March.
Yeah, so when 2028 rolls around, he's not a young player. But anyway, the fact that he came in, and by the time you're a couple months later, you have a lot of teams asking to trade for him, that says a lot about him as a player and his character. To go from a Rule 5 guy to a guy where all these teams are calling Oakland going, hey, we'd love to have him. And David Force is like, nope, off. He is not on the trading block.
Well, for him, that has to be awesome to hear that, how highly he's thought of in the organization and everything he was able to accomplish last year. I think his on-base percentage would have been higher and he would have been more qualified if he didn't have the jaw injury and missed some time. And, he had a slump there for a bit, but every young player in their first couple of years does slump a little bit, but he is a lot to be excited about.
Looking at his stats, you non-batting average people, he hit 229. If he doesn't hit 229, if he hits 260, he's going to have some more home runs. He's going to hit 260. That OPS is well over 800.
Yeah. What was his OPS plus?
OPS plus is 121.
That's pretty good.
100's league average. He was 121.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good. Ryan Noda in his first year showed out.
And he told us to spring training last year, I want to win a Gold Glove.
Yeah.
We've had some good first basemen the last 10
I'm excited.
years.
I'm really
defensively, I'm saying.
And it was great to see him with the year Matt Olson had last year. I mean, obviously he was deserved of the MVP, but he had an MVP year in a year a lot of guys had an MVP year. But tell you what, Ryan Noda, the next couple of years, I don't think he'll ever have the power that Matt Olson has, but he has the ability to walk way more than Matt Olson does.
Yeah. Olson's never a big walk guy.
Not a big.
He was a big strikeout guy.
Big strikeout guy.
He cut it down that one year, but here's Olson's numbers last year. Olson walked 104 times last year. That was the most he's ever had in his career.
Yeah, give me the years before that.
75, 88, 34. That was the 2020 season. 51. Strikeout numbers: 163, 138.
Okay, so give me Olson's walk numbers in full years.
2018, he played every game. He walked 70 times.
Okay, so this is Ryan Noda in 128 games. He walked 77.
Yeah, and
so he's walking more than Matt Olson in a full. So what was Matt Olson's OPS in that year?
His OPS was 788.
Yeah, this kid's was 770.
He had lower OPS plus too.
Yeah.
Olson.
So and Olson, I don't think Ryan Noda is ever going to be the home run hitter Matt Olson is. But if you're looking at for very first full year, you can look at Ryan Noda's numbers and see a pattern of a more consistent player.
Yeah. Maybe if you get the longevity, or not I guess because back-to-back years Olson played every game.
I am not in any way going to say that he's better than Matt Olson. No, Olson is Matt Olson, I said, will get Hall of Fame votes for sure and will be on the ballot for a while. Matt Olson's a great player. I don't think Noah's as good as he is defensively, but I'm just saying from an offensive standpoint, I got a guy here, 128 games, walked 77 times. I mean, it's unbelievable. He hit 16 bombs, had a 770 OPS and a 121 OPS plus. that is legit for your first time ever playing Major League Baseball. And it's kind of better than Matt Olson's. And Matt Olson had the cup. Not a cup. He had a taste of it a few times. This is just his first time. This is his shot. So Matt Olson's first full year is barely better than the first full year of Ryan Noda, and Noda didn't even play nearly the same amount of games.
All right, so we'll play a quick over-under for next year. Over-under, will Ryan Noda have more walks than Juan Soto has runs scored with the Yankees?
Ooh, that's going to be around 100, right?
That's a $31 million man, highest ever in arbitration, Juan Soto. Soto last year scored 97 runs.
That's what I'd say, around 100.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 100 walks is a lot of walks. I mean, not if you're Barry Bonds, but I mean, for
Soto walked 132 last year.
For most people, that's a lot of walks.
That's just 20 more than he had last year.
Ryan Noda's walks versus Juan Soto's runs scored. That's kind of a random question. I'm going to go Ryan Noda.
I'm going to say, because Soto played in every game last year, and he only scored 97 runs. Well, I say only.
Yeah, first year in the Bronx for Juan Soto will be real interesting, right?
Yeah, they got an interesting team they're putting together. Him, Marcus Stroman signed last night.
Because, Stroman signed a 2-year deal with the Yanks. Good luck with that, because Stroman, the way he ended up, he was awful. I remember Stu was touting Stroman, and Stroman was going great for the Cubs.
He was awesome for them, yeah.
And then he fell off. He was hurt. He was terrible. Juan Soto's first year in the Bronx will be so amazing because now you're going to be scrutinized. So the warts that he has, the Mike Petriellos of the world won't be able to shy this away anymore. This whole, he just walks a lot. Now, he did finally turn it on offensively last year in San Diego, where he hadn't done it originally when coming over from Washington to San Diego. But hitting 240, taking a lot of called third strikes, if he falls back into that, Juan Soto, it's going to be rough sledding in the Bronx.
He might get booed.
Oh, he will get booed.
I mean, then again, people never thought the Warriors would get booed in their own arena, and they've been booing Steve Kerr and the Warriors the last few games. So anything's possible. It's New York. They'll boo him. They'll probably boo him in the first game if he doesn't have a...
Who have they not booed? Jeter,
yeah. Mantle.
Everybody else got booed.
Yeah.
Everybody gets booed. Aaron Judge has gotten booed.
You're telling me A-Rod's gotten booed in New York?
A-Rod's gotten way booed in New York. Juan Soto, if he reverts back to taking a lot of walks, taking a lot of called third strikes, not swinging it, low batting average, he will get roasted because he's a rental. He's a 1 year. It's kind of like, you want big money from the Yankees, here's your shot to prove it. And everybody always sees this, like when these trades happen, because I know he's a analytic darling, right? Once again, because he walks. This whole they put it from the standpoint of, well, the Yankees will have to make him fall in love. Hey, he's gonna have to prove he can play in New York.
Yeah, this isn't Washington.
Because he seemed like a little bit of a sensitive flower in San Diego.
Yeah, and that's
this is not San Diego.
Yeah, not at all.
I can tell you. I know San Diego.
They have like 3 writers in San Diego.
This is not the San Diego Union Tribune going, bro, this is so awesome, bro. Isn't this great at Petco? No, this is not. This is not everybody has board shorts on and they got the Fu Manchus. And this is not San Diego. Dude, the breweries. San Diego, everybody in their breweries. Yeah.
Gelof's here, by the way.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
He doesn't know. Well, he's in Florida. But he
How's
knows.
it going?
What's it, Zack Gelof? What's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
It is great to see you. I told you a long time ago we were going to want to check in here in the off season. We're down here at Fitch Park at Fantasy Camp, Ace Fantasy Camp. We just talked to your teammates. We just talked to Nick Allen. We just talked to Ryan Noda. And great to see you. And I know you got to feel just like they are. They can't wait to get back here to Arizona and get it going.
Man, yeah, I'm right there with them. I can't wait to, get with the guys and, get right to work.
When we think about the last time we saw you, just tell us what it was like the first couple weeks when you went back home to think about what your first time in the big leagues, what it was like. What were your thoughts?
My thoughts was it's a blast, and I want to be here for a long time, and I want to win. And I think just getting the taste of that, being around some really great teammates along the way, having a good coaching staff, and I think getting a taste of it was awesome. But I think like myself, I think we're all just really hungry for more, and that's what we're gonna try to do this year. So
I love to hear that because we heard that from Nick, we've heard that from Ryan. You get the sense from the front office that you guys were happy to be here, but you weren't happy with the way the losing was. And I know from covering the team, like, it's harsh. It's tough to lose like that. But you guys, there's going to be a little bit more of a sense of a pride, I guess, coming into the spring training that you do not want to go through another year like that.
100%. And I wasn't up the whole year, obviously, but I think we started to turn around right after All-Star break, and we have a great group of guys, and we put the work in. I think we have really good approaches on the field and off the field, and we all genuinely like each other too. So I think we're all in this together, and no one's gonna come save us. I think we got the right group of guys in the clubhouse, and we're just gonna do our best and get after it every day.
How much are you communicating with guys in the off season?
Every few weeks, probably just text someone random and just say like maybe send a video or something. I stay in touch with a lot of the guys, but it's more just excitement and can't really contain it. So I'll text one of them and just say, hey man, like, are you feeling what I'm feeling? Are you ready to go? And everyone's on the same page. So it's exciting.
What did you want to work on? What have you been doing? What's been happening for you this off season?
I think the off season is crucial because taking care of your body is I think the most important. So in the weight room, eating well, sleeping well is something that I took priority over, along with the baseball side now, getting closer to spring training. So make sure I'm doing running and a lot of baseball stuff, doing machine work and all that stuff. So I think just ultimately just taking care of my body, try to get bigger, faster, stronger. And, the ultimate goal is just to stay on the field.
It's so interesting when you hear guys like yourself talk about you get to the big league level, you're playing every single day. Obviously, the pressure is far more greater because now you're just not playing for yourself to try and get up to the big leagues. Now you're playing for a team, a franchise, and everything. Just the amount of rest and learning how to take care of your body. How much more now would you say you're in tune with your body and what you need to do to be ready versus what you were a few years ago?
Yeah, that's huge. I think, when I first got drafted in 2021, I went into the offseason not really knowing what I needed to do. And then, I played a full season in 22. And then, I think every offseason since then, I think I've gotten really much better at honing in on my craft, what I feel like I need to do to stay ready and get ready for a long season because, the goal is to play 162. And if we're fortunate enough, we want to play, 162 plus, play in the playoffs, and you got to be at your best at the end of the year. So, that's huge. But I think just every year that I've been in pro ball and even going back to college, I think I just know that much more about my body and what it takes to, keep it ready.
Every single spring training is different for every single guy. Some guys are, just trying to, I think where you just wanted to showcase yourself to the front office to every single year trying to say, I'm closer or I'm ready. This is a different spring training for you. So have you thought about how the goals and what you want to accomplish in spring training will be different than from years past?
Yeah, I think you always got to go into spring training knowing that you got to go out there and win a job. Nothing's a given going into the spring, especially with our group where we're at. And, that's going to be how I approach the spring is I'm going to come in, be ready to go and kind of just rely on Cots to kind of pull me back in because I don't want to be, saying like, oh, I want to play a few innings here and there. I want to be, going out there ready to play and trying to be playing every day the best of my ability. So that's the same approach that I'm going to go in with it.
Now, what was maybe one or two things that you look back and you think about the season, you go, God, I wish I would have done that differently, or I would approach this in a different way. Can you give us maybe one or two that you look back in the off season that you went, man, when I have that opportunity again, I'm going to do it differently?
I think at the beginning, playing in the WBC, I think looking back, I would have gotten a hit. I'm still hitless in the WBC experience, but I look back and I don't have any regrets. I think it's all part of the process and part of the journey. So I look back and I don't regret anything, because I think if I did something wrong or if something didn't go my way, I learned from it. And that's how I'm going to continue to live my life.
I like that. I like that. What are the fun things you've done away from baseball? Has there been anything good that you've had going on this off season?
Yeah, actually, I just got back from Disney World with my family. Got to take the family there and grandparents. So that was the birthday present from me and my brother to my mom. So, we went to a few parks and had some fun.
That's odd, because all of us out here are used to Disneyland, California, which is way smaller. Disney World is like, I've never been there. I've stayed near there for some conventions. Disney World is like, you can't do it all like in a week, right? It's like massive.
Yeah, there's so many parks. I mean, we only went to Magic Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, and Animal Kingdom, and that was 3 days. It was 2 days, but we did 3 parks, and it was a lot. But I think to get it all in, you definitely have to be here for more than just 2 days. But it was a blast, and still got the lifts in. A little gritty in the small hotel. I think it was it wasn't the best gym, but we still got it in.
How's your brother doing?
He's doing great. I think it's good for him to have me, and just me to have him as well, of just having that training partner, and getting after it every day through the ups and downs, and just on our way to the top.
When you think about your relationship with Nick Allen and what you've just learned as an up the middle, just talk about that transition, the relationship with Nick, and just for you learning second base and getting better at second base, when we always thought you were going to be a third baseman, could be a big shortstop third baseman, but second base. Just talk about that transition and just your communication and relationship with Nick Allen.
Nick is the man. Ever since I got drafted, ever since I met him, he's been, nothing but professional and super energetic and awesome. And the one thing I took from it is, this is how I've been in the past few years, is that whoever's the best at what they do, I try to gravitate towards them and try to compete at what they do. So from the beginning, it was always Nicky Pickett, the best hands, super smooth. I've never seen anyone as smooth as him. So I try to be around him as much as possible and try to, compete with him and try to get better.
This offseason, a lot of the stuff that they talk about the future of the A's, and they talk about, certain when we're not talking about ballpark and relocation, that kind of stuff, when we're just focused on baseball, a lot is about you. How do you like that? How do you like that spotlight? Have you enjoyed it?
I don't feel much of a spotlight. I think it was a tough season, and I think you got to pull some positives. And, obviously me coming up, I had a pretty good first few games. So yeah, I mean, that's cool. But I think the ultimate goal is just winning. I want to win, and, I want to be part of it. So I don't feel the spotlight at all. But, I just want to be, in spring training right now, and just, getting after it, put the work in, and, ultimately just go out there and compete.
I love what I'm hearing from you and from Ryan, and also from Nick today. Everybody's saying the same thing. I keep hearing winning. I keep hearing want to win. You guys are putting it out in the universe. You guys are putting it out like, we want to win. Last year only winning 50 games was pretty harsh. It was tough. But there's like expectations. If you can we'll let you go on that. Just talk about how you guys have expectations, even though there's a lot of people that don't have those same expectations for you. You guys expect to come here this season, not 2 seasons, not 3 seasons. You expect this season to win.
Yeah, of course. And I think the big thing is just being a winning baseball player and being a winner in general. I think, a lot of the wins in the season are won in spring training and just every day in the off season too. So I think part of being a winning player is just showing up, putting in the work, being super competitive, and bring people with you. And I think, that's going to be the mentality in spring training, is just us showing up, getting after it every day, and try to be winners that day, and just keep stacking days up, and then see where we stand at the end of the year.
Yeah, just one more. What's like a main goal you're going to have when you get here, whether it's yourself, defense, offense? What's a main goal, something you're really going to want to work on and accomplish at spring training?
I think just keep building on what I've done and just my routines and sticking to it. I think being on the field is super important. That's the only way you can add to the team. So for me, it's just going to be keep building on the routines that I think I found that worked well for me last year. Keep building on them and staying super competitive and try to have that winning baseball player mentality every day.
Well, I'm just checking my phone because I can see you here on Instagram. I'm just looking at the camera. You look good. Can't wait to see you. It's going to be fantastic. Just being down here just inspires you, kind of gets you ready for spring training. So be well, be good, and we'll see you at Ho-Ho Cam once spring training starts.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Chris. I appreciate it.
Be well.
You too.
Zack Gelof, the future of the franchise, as they like to say. Yeah, it's kind of cool, Cody. I'm looking at it right here. We can, you got it on Instagram Live.
Yeah, I did it for all of our.
Because normally I can only see the camera. I don't get to see him, so I want to pull it up and see him.
If I would have put up,
good.
If I would have put up our iPad tripods, they wouldn't blown on the field yesterday. So that's why we didn't put those up. I made the executive decision not to do that.
Yeah, yesterday was no joke. Yesterday was a windy day. Like I was having to hold this thing when Carney Lansford was here, so it wouldn't hit Carney Lansford. It was a whole different ball game. Well, I don't know, man. I'm fired up. Am I supposed to be? I mean, listen to these kids. The kids fire me up. They're the future. They are what's going to take us from the darkness to the light, right?
Yes, I mean. You think with a young team, that's where we're going, and these are the guys that everyone's excited about. All of our fans are, so we're excited. There's so much going on in the organization with young players that we are excited about. I'm excited about the starting pitchers. We got to start talking to some of those guys soon.
Yeah,
get some of our guys on, and we got to talk to Lawrence Butler too. Got to check with Law, see what he's up to.
Law's down there in the Atlanta area with Marquise Grissom and with a bunch of guys, big leaguers, guys that gonna be big leaguers, but. They're down there pushing themselves, so that's good. We know Denzel Clark. We were supposed to talk to him. He's and it's a guy. They're all talking about winning. They could all be sitting there going, "I'm working on this. I'm gonna do this. I." None of them say that. None of that. I'm gonna get into what they're doing and force them to do that, but they want to talk about. I want to win. They keep that. That doesn't guarantee anything. But that's what you want to hear. You've got young guys that are coming to spring training, no matter what the noise is, no matter what all the negativity is, they're coming here. They want to win baseball games.
Yeah. And it's been refreshing to hear from all three guys today, and Al and Noda and Gelof, hear what they're talk about winning and staying in touch and the things Gelof's had to say about Nick Allen and how slick he is a shortstop and just talking with him. That's the stuff you want to hear. I don't really check in with people during the off season. I just kind of keep to myself.
I haven't talked to anybody. Well,
I want a darkness retreat like Aaron Rodgers. I don't really talk to anyone.
I don't pick up a bat till January. I've been sucking down a 12-pack every day. Who are you guys?
Yeah.
Why am I doing this? Is this going to be how long is this going to be? I play golf. It's each one of them talked about winning.
Yeah, it's great.
And that's what this thing's about. And that's how you turn it around. This is the process. And so Nick Allen talked about having to do it. We're not going to mention the interview, but they asked him to do an interview. And obviously everybody is going for the low-hanging fruit right now. And they'll even do it with the players. And the players have nothing to do with relocation. The players have nothing to do with any of that. But, there's something to be said about when there are no expectations. And really everybody forgets about you, which is kind of a good place to be, right? You don't have this major spotlight. You don't have this pressure. And all of a sudden, if things go your way, and now if's a big word. For 2 letters, it's a big word.
Yeah.
But if a lot of things go your way and you get out to a good start, man, and you start gaining confidence. I mean, that tells a lot, right?
Yeah, and our next guest knows all about winning and building playing on a team that was building towards something. And
yeah,
so there's a lot to look forward to, as we mentioned, going into the 2024 season.
I mean, the big question is going to be is how's this club doing right now? I mean, because obviously he's an A's great, and we can sit here and we can talk about all the things he's done in his career. The big question is he going to be able to bring home a fantasy camp championship? He and this guy Carney. How we doing, Skip? How we doing out there?
Well, if you asked me yesterday, pretty good. So far today, we started out a little slow this morning, and we got a very close 2-0 game going on back there right now.
Well, this is the year that you cannot allow Dallas Braden. This is what Carney kind of said it's your guys' year.
Well, that was yesterday when we were 1-0 and we beat Dallas yesterday. So we were kind of feeling pretty good about it.
He was actually here right after you beat Dallas too.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why he was feeling that way.
Well, and I'm not going to throw my team under the bus, but we might have had a few guys that might have missed curfew last night, and I think it's showing today. And, we need to get those guys back on track.
I'm going to be honest with you. I think they were with us last night.
So you're to blame for this poor performance today. Okay.
Me, technically, I don't drink, so it wasn't me, but I was with the crew.
Yes.
And I may have bought.
And I heard that the crew was out late. Now we're forced to check on beds tonight, to make sure the team is in where they're supposed to be.
You could say that the hotel personnel came to us multiple times to be quiet.
And I even heard through the grapevine that there was part of the staff that found extra rooms so that the participants didn't have to go to bed.
I knew the Rotary Club while you guys were playing, and I was going through the hotel yesterday. The Rotary Club was in this big room, and I noticed that they were in there. So last night when we were being kicked out of the hotel bar, you know what? It actually is my fault.
That's what I'm looking at.
It's my fault.
The more I'm staring at you stuttering right now, it is 100% your fault for this poor.
I found the extra room for everybody to party last night.
We got the weakest link right here, right now.
We just talked to Zack Gelof, and we talked to Ryan Noda, and then we had Nick Allen right here. Young players, all talking about one thing: winning. Even though, the good things, the bad things, the things they accomplished, the things that they're trying to do this offseason, a young group of men, all they want to talk about is winning. And I think about when you guys were young and you were coming up, because right now, as you know, everything's so negative. Everything is so harsh. What does it mean to you that you got a bunch of young, really good athletes, these young A's, who are coming to spring training? They don't want to talk about themselves. They want to talk about how last year stunk and they don't want that again and they want to win. What does that mean to you?
That means a lot. And I think the reason for that is the team that developed in, my era of baseball, especially our group coming through the minors, we had probably 10 to 15 of us that ended up in the big leagues that won in A-ball, won in double-A ball. Next year in double-A ball, finished second. So we had a group of guys that culturally were winning. And you carry that up into, the big leagues. And you surround those winners, in our case, with some veteran players. And next thing you know, we're on a great run. So I'm excited to hear that these younger players, instead of, talking about the potential dollars that are out there, and you see the big signings in baseball, instead of dreaming one day that's going to be me, I like to hear that it is about winning. We just had Tony La Russa was here visiting us a little bit, and we were in our locker room talking, and we talked about how we feel watching baseball has changed a little bit in the sense of playing winning baseball. And the way Tony did with us in Oakland, where he won in St. Louis, it was about getting the guy over, getting the guy in, taking a pitch so Ricky could steal. We were teasing Carney about that. And then one of the best things was Carney takes the pitch, Ricky steals, Carney moves him over, Jose or Dave Henderson drives them in. I mean, and here we are, 1-0, and that philosophy, in our opinion, has seemed to have gotten lost on some teams. We talked to Dallas, who sees a lot of games, and yesterday after this, we were kind of talking shop about that. And we're excited to hear that, especially with Oakland, because you can do a lot of things if you're playing fundamental baseball. You can do a lot of things if you got everybody believing that we need to play winning baseball. We need to get that guy over, get that guy in. And if you get the team believing that, you can accomplish a lot of things.
Now, if you don't beat yourself, you can't say that enough. Like, if you play defense, because like when we saw the team in 18 and 19, when they won 97 games 2 straight years, which was only good enough for a wild card spot. Hard to believe. But that, like we talked about, the hallmark of those teams really was, everyone talk home runs. It was great defense. So it's like, if you play defense, you got some athletes and you pitch a little bit, you got a chance.
You got a chance. Okay. So go back to our era of playing. What does everybody remember about the 88, 89, 90 teams? The Bash Brothers, the home runs, and all this stuff. What doesn't get talked about is we were like second or third in the league in defense all of those years, which is, was agreeing, with the statement that you're saying. If you do play that defense, if you put emphasis on that, don't give the good teams extra outs. That's how they're going to come and beat you.
Well, think how good you were, like you behind the dish, Carney at third, Walt Weiss, who we still bring on the program, was with the Atlanta Braves. You had a mixture of second basemen. Mark McGwire was better at first base, and Big Mac on this program told us the thing that he's most proud of is his Gold Glove. He was better than you thought. So you guys, and then you had athletes in the outfield.
Right.
Jose was better when he was younger.
Yes.
You had Ricky, you had Hindu.
Yep.
So, like, defensively, you guys were good.
We were solid, yeah. But again, so many people go back, and as soon as you mention those teams, right away they think offense, and obviously pitching, all right? But that defense is probably the third or fourth thing that was talked about, and we prided ourselves in that. We had drills and stuff in spring training that we did to make sure that we didn't lack on our defense. The reps of double play balls, the reps that the infielders took, the reps that we did as catchers, from blocking balls to throwing to the different bases and different bunt situations, and it kind of went unnoticed. But when you go to the grand scheme of things of what it takes to develop a winning team or an era of winning, it comes down to doing the little things.
I think about catcher, and a lot of people, I used to get into this with our great friend Ray Fosse. It's like you just don't, because early in his career, it's one thing to be a catcher. It's also to be a catcher and to be an offensive catcher. And Ray was an offensive catcher before he got hurt. Obviously, you were an offensive catcher. It's so tough because there's the physical part of the game where just you get banged up night after night after night. You've got to know all your pitchers. You got to know what makes them tick, what they can throw under pressure, how they're feeling. You got to know starters, relievers. You got to know the other team's hitters. You got to know all of that. And then you have the pressure of being an offensive catcher. What was that like? Because it's one thing if you're just a defensive guy, that's all they expect.
Yeah.
But when I want you to perform and be an offensive guy and all that I talked about, how tough is that?
It's tough, and I loved it. And I made this comment to many people. If I didn't want to be known just as a one-sided catcher. Like I didn't want to be known, oh, he's a good defensive guy. Oh, he calls a good game. I wanted to be known that if I have the ability to hit 300, then be a 300 hitter and do what you're supposed to do behind the plate. It's no different than our other positional players. We had good defensive guys. Oh, they're not supposed to hit. Carney's, playing hard at third, but we don't need his bat. No, we need everybody's bat. So I prided myself in trying to stay within myself and doing what I was capable of doing. Was I capable of being a 40 home run? No, but I was capable of using gap to gap and using the field that I was taught how to use. And I wanted to make sure that I stayed in that. And I was probably hard on myself offensively because I felt I could do more than catching a good game and being a 220, 230 hitter.
Yeah, you're far better than that.
Yeah.
You're far better than that.
Well, thank you.
Seeing Tony La Russa here today, what is it like? Because since it's fantasy camp and, Terry Steinbach, and we get to hang with him, World Series champion, All-Star game MVP, and, you got Stu and you got everybody out here. So it's like the fantasy, right? But what's it like for you, as Tony's gotten older, Hall of Famer, A's Hall of Famer. What is it like when you accomplish so much in this game? What's it like when you guys just get back here in the locker room and you're talking with Tony?
I think I'm going to speak for myself, and there might be other players that feel the same way, but while you're playing the game, and even once you're kind of out of the game, you really don't ever give yourself or a lot of credit for stuff that you accomplished. 3 World Series appearances, World Series champ, MVP, All-Star, blah, 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 stuff like that. But when you get your group together, like now, so when Tony walked into that room and we go to the coach's room and we start reminiscing about stories, we'll go, oh, what about that play? And what about that situation? And man, I think this was the best team, coming from Tony's words, that he was ever privileged to manage. It's when you start reminiscing and talking amongst yourselves that you almost like take a step back and realize, man, what we did was pretty cool. What we did, was pretty special. We had a very unique group of guys, and we sat inside that room, and you kind of went to third base, and then we went to shortstop, who was playing short, and then we went to Jose, how good of an offensive player and defensive player he was early in his career. He patrolled right field, arguably should have got a Gold Glove one of those years. Then you go to Dave, and then you go to Ricky, and you talk and laugh and joke and tease, and then you kind of like out of body experience. You step back a little bit and go, man, that's right. We did a lot. We were pretty good. We had a lot of fun, and yeah, I can kind of see why, a lot of these campers are like, hey, nice to meet you, Mr. Steinbuck. Nice to meet you, Mr. Lansford, but you kind of forget about that. As a
you
player.
guys were rock stars.
Well, I don't want to go, but
you were.
Yeah, we had fun.
I was in high school. Jose Canseco, and so I've gotten to do quite a bit with Jose. And because Jose, it is what it is, right? There's a crowd that loves him. There's a crowd that doesn't. Bottom line is, when I was growing up, Jose Canseco was the biggest star in baseball.
He was an integral part of our team, period. And I'm agreeing with you. Yeah, do we agree with everything that happened, everything he did? No. But you go back,
Yeah.
and focus on what did he do to help us win? What did he do to help us get these rings? He's part of that.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad that I think it was 5-7 years ago, he finally started to come back. I think it was one of the reunion teams that we had, that he kind of, I don't know what he said he came back. Or said he was going to come back. And for us, it was good to see him. It's like, damn, Jose, you're an idiot, but man, it's good to see you.
Yeah.
God, those years were fun. Look at this reunion that we're having. Look at all the people that are cheering for us,
Yeah.
and you kind of, I don't know, what do you want to say? Like bury the hatchet, or all of us have probably done dumb things in our life, but it doesn't ruin you forever. You know what I mean? So for me, yeah, it was good to see him back, because he was part of those teams. We had tremendous stories, like you're saying. We can, the home run in the Sky Dome that's up in the 5th deck. And I'll never forget, the photographer went up the next day, took a picture where the ball landed and where home plate was. And home plate was this tiny little dot, and you're going, man, and we reminisce about the stadiums that we would go to. And you have Canseco, McGuire, and Dave Henderson in Group 4. And Mac's case, Jose's case, we're at Fenway Park, and they're hitting 90% of the balls over and out of Fenway Park. And the Boston fans, how persnickety they are, they saw that performance. In BP, they stood up and gave that group a standing O. You don't see that, especially at Boston, but that's how special that group of people we had, and the talent that we had.
One guy I want to bring it up, because I watched it. I watch a lot of MLB Network. It is what it is, right?
Yeah.
And I watch a lot of it. And I was watching the Dave Cobra documentary, and to watch the part, once again, I'm in high school at the time. You guys are the biggest, because 88, 80, I graduated in 90. So 88, 89, 90. These are my formative baseball years. I'm going to play baseball in college. Baseball is everything for me. You guys are the number one team. And it got to the part, because they go through the whole Pittsburgh, then it goes to Cincinnati, and then it's the Dave Parker coming to Oakland, and you're like, Dave Parker swinging that sledgehammer in the on-deck circle. He's the veteran guy. He's been all-star. He's been MVP. He's been this. What was it like when just old man Dave Parker, who was larger than life, personality-wise, career-wise, shows up to help you guys win a World Series?
100% larger than life. But consistent with what the A's did and who the A's brought in. Yeah, Dave, you're great. Yeah, I look at your accolades. But coming from him and joining us, he says, what can I do to be part of this team? What can I contribute to make this group of guys a winning team? What can we do to get to the World Series? What can we do to win, the World Series? And when you hear that coming from a guy like Dave Parker and the credentials and accolades that he already had, it was like, hell yeah, we can do this. And having him part of that was fantastic. And I'll never forget it. He's been out of the game and I was out of the game. And we were at some function where it might have been an autograph show. I can't remember what it was, but I see him, and I'm thinking, well, here's Dave Parker, look at, yes, a teammate of mine and World Series champion, but all the other stuff he's done. And the first thing he does comes and gives you a big old hug and said, Steiny, I can't believe how much fun we had in those years. That was fun. I'm going, you got a whole career that you could go back and reflect on. And yet he felt that way about the group of people that we assembled for those teams.
So there was a time over at NBC doing A's pre. I know he's got to go. I got to get this. So we're doing the pre and post game show for NBC, Stu and I.
Yeah.
And we started getting into a story about how he loved to mess with you. And there was this time in Toronto he messed with you, but then he had the whole thing of Bud Lights for you after the game. And I was thinking, you were a young catcher. Bob Welch already established himself in the World Series, Dodgers, right? Here's Dave Stewart, 20-game winner. You were a young guy dealing with some veteran big names. Moore. Here comes Eckersley. Eckersley's turned his career around, but Eckersley had already thrown a no-hitter in 120 games. You dealt with a Honeycutt. You dealt with a lot of veteran guys as a young catcher through those great years. What was that like?
Mike Moore, Bobby Welch.
Yeah.
We'll throw those names in there. Yes, it was hard. They couldn't have been more helpful. They through the attitude of the A's system, and I mean Dave Duncan as the pitching coach, Renee Latchman as our catching coach, the meetings that we had with Dunk and the pitchers prior to games, and the willingness and the ability of me wanting to learn, and their patience and their experience of saying, hey, this guy is going to be our catcher. We're going to work with him. And we tease a lot about Stu. I give this story all the time because Tony was big on momentum of the game. The catcher, it's your job to be in sync with what the pitcher's doing. And he wanted a fast-paced game. Defense keeps on track. We want to get our hitters off the field, get them back on in the batter's box so we can score runs. And Stu had a series of signs, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I put 1 down, all right? And Stu wipes. He wipes 2, 3, 4, 1. Right back to 1, winds up and throws the pitch. Well, what the hell? That's just what I called, So I wait, we wait till the game's over. And again, the buckets of beer and we're talking shop and we're reminiscing. I'm going, Stu, I got to talk to you. What? I said, what the hell happened in the 5th inning? What do you mean the 5th inning? I put down 1 and you went 2, 3, 4, 1. Why wouldn't you just put what I called down? And he starts laughing. Steiny, I don't want you to think that you know what the hell you're calling. And to this day, we just brought that up the other night. And we laugh about it. But the good thing was that group of pitchers were willing enough to work with me. And I was willing to do what I could for them. And we had Stu, which is a good forkball pitcher. I had to block balls with guys on third. Mike Moore was a good forkball pitcher. Had to block balls with a guy on third. And once you show those pitchers that you have the ability and the knowledge and to do that, they feel comfortable. Hey, I got a big strikeout here. We got 2 outs. Guy on third and Joe Carter's on deck. We got to get this hitter out. Fork balls the pitch in the dirt, block it, catch it, tag the guy out. We're out of the inning. And once they know that they confidently they can do that, and you're going to knock that ball down, you gain a lot of respect.
All right, what time do you want people in tonight?
I want them in so they can perform.
What time? You tell me a time.
Let's go midnight. No later than midnight. I don't want any special rooms going on tonight. All right. When the bar closes, it's closed.
Well, I was going to negotiate till 11. You're going midnight?
Well, they might have to drink their wounds tonight. Last night they drank their successes. Tonight it's going to be the other way.
You have my word. It will be shut down at midnight.
Remember, we just said this phrase today. If you're going to hoot with the Owls, you have to soar with the Eagles.
If you're going to hoot with the Owls at night, you got to soar with the Eagles in the morning.
You got it. Make sure my club knows that.
And unfortunately, your club didn't bring that today.
The Eagle was not flying, or the Eagle hasn't flown yet today. Let's put it that way.
Okay, maybe what I'll do, last round of Gatorades, just so we can get everybody electrolytes and get everybody for the night.
Whatever it takes. We'll find out tomorrow.
You know what you mean in A's history and to all these fans. You mean a lot, and it's always great. And to get you out of the snow, get you out of Minnesota, get you here in the sun. It's a little bit better. You gonna stay here for the month?
Yeah, we're staying here. We got friends of ours. We got a condo rented. We'll leave the 30th, 31st, depending on what the weather is. If it's colder, we'll stay that one extra day.
Always great having you on.
Thanks for having us. And again, I appreciate the A's fans. They've been fantastic.
We got more coming up next right here on A's Cast Live.
Hey, it's Eno Saris, your friendly neighborhood baseball scribe. There are two things I love, baseball and beer. When I'm not busy around the ballpark, you'll likely catch me back with a cold one at any of Fieldwork Brewing's 8 locations sprinkled across the Bay Area. Fieldwork's got a rotating lineup of over 20 beers on tap that's as diverse as any 26-man roster. They got everything from super juicy, hazy IPAs to crisp pilsners and tropical sours that make your taste buds do the wave. Whether you're all about that draft life or prefer to grab some cans to go, Fieldwork's got your bases covered. Check them out at fieldworkbrewing.com to learn more. That's fieldworkbrewing.com.
This is Chris Townsend and Commander Cody for Link Soul. The new summer colors and prints are in stock. The new polos, lightweight, all the colors you want. Fabulous. We got our new order.
My wife is so happy that I'm dressing so much better. All thanks to Link Soul.
You name it, whether it's polos, whether it's shorts, anything for your summer needs, you need to revamp your wardrobe. You go to linksoul.com and they got great summer deals. Go to linksoul.com. That's linksoul.com.
A's general manager David Forst was on A's Cast Live during the winter meetings and explained why the team was moving Mason Miller to the bullpen.
Mason's tried starting now over 3 years, minor leagues, big leagues, keeps coming up with something, and we're going to try the pen. And you know, to Mason's credit, he's open to whatever. He's obviously a little disappointed. I think everybody wants to be the starter when it comes down to it. But I mean, he, you know, obviously, like you said, with his stuff, he could have a really impressive career in the bullpen. But we told him this is not permanent. Like, go out there, let's try and keep you healthy for a year. That's got to be the first step. That way you help yourself, you help the team, and then we can reevaluate.
You can watch the full interview at youtube.com/athletics or listen at athletics.com/A'sCast.
If you're looking for a new mattress, Nest Bedding has you covered. Sleep on the same mattress Hall of Famer Ricky Henderson sleeps on. Nest Bedding is the #1 brand of online mattresses and the Bay Area's favorite mattress store. Take home the Easy Breather pillow. The New York Times calls it their #1 pick. You can navigate their easy-to-use website, nestbedding.com. That's nestbedding.com. Green and Gold fans, use the coupon code Oakland and you get 10% off your entire order. Nest Bedding, love where you sleep. If you're looking for a great place to eat and watch games, go see our friends at the Chicken Pie Shop of Walnut Creek. The Chicken Pie Shop is one of the hottest restaurants in Walnut Creek. You're not going to find a better menu, and come try their world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 86 years. Spacious indoor and outdoor dining, perfect for your next private party or corporate event. Don't forget free parking. For more information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
A's manager Mark Kotze was on A's Cast Live at the winter meetings and discussed the culture being built by the young A's.
I think we do have a collection of talent that the A's fans saw come together really in August and September. You know, if you look at the first half of the year, you know, we were staring at history. Zack Gelof showed up and a couple others, kind of changed the culture. The next group that came, the Soderstrom Butler group, kind of recognized how difficult the big leagues really are. I think the culture that was built in September amongst this young group is going to continue forward in spring training. They're going to continue to challenge each other. They're going to continue to hold each other accountable, which is all the right things to build going forward for, you know, winning ball club.
You can watch the full interview at youtube.com/athletics or listen at athletics.com/A'sCast.
Nestled in the hills of San Jose, minutes from Silicon Valley, Cinnabar Hills Golf Club offers 27 holes of championship golf, a first-class pro shop, practice facility, and great food in the grill. This time of year also means family and business get-togethers. Let the folks at Cinnabar Hills make your event unforgettable while enjoying their award-winning venue. It's all there for you. Championship golf, a great space for any events, and incredible food. See it all at CinnabarHills.com. That's CinnabarHills.com.
Angels manager Ron Washington was on A's Cast Live in Nashville and talked about his new role with the organization.
It's about making a difference. It's about teaching, which the game certainly need more than any time it ever needed it, because the baseball players now are young. You know, you have to teach. You usually do that in the minor leagues, but now you got to do it at the major league. And I've always been a teacher, and I'm ready for this opportunity and the challenge.
You can watch the full interview at youtube.com/athletics or listen at athletics.com/A'sCast.
And the underdogs, Oakland Athletics, win their first championship since they were in Philadelphia in 1930.
Hi, I'm Raleigh Fingers, Hall of Famer, three-time World Series champion with the Oakland A's and World Series MVP. Winning takes teamwork, skill, and heart. So when you need an ace for a personal injury lawyer that will win you the game, go with the winning team. Call Venardi Zerata at 833-VZ for me, or go to vzlawfirm.com. Venardi Serrata, the official injury law firm of the Oakland A's.
Like sports, business is about winning. Championship decisions are business decisions based on what it takes to help your company win. And that's why there's UBO Business Services, specializing in helping you win every day by streamlining workflows, managing documents, and providing the best-in-class office technology. Make your championship decision with UBO Business Services. Visit them at ubeo.com. That's ubeo.com.
A's Cast Live continues from the studio. Here's Chris Townsend.
Well, I have to tell you, I said I'm going to end this show. I'm going to end Fantasy Camp on A's Cast Live. I don't want slow. I don't want old. I don't want someone who can't bring it. I want someone who brought it to the yard every single day. I want somebody who the fans love, Cody. Somebody who was a fan favorite.
But Dallaire delivered.
And Dallaire delivered Adam Rosales. Rosie, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
This is it for us. Well, I'm going to be here through Monday, through all the awards and the championship thing.
Nice.
And
Awesome.
I'm going to do the Raleigh Fingers interview. But this for us live on A's Cast Live. This is it. You're bringing us home.
All right. I'm happy to do that. I'm honored.
So how are you, first and foremost?
Fantastic. Never better.
And how's your team doing?
We were better yesterday. Our name is called Someday because last year, Cat and I, we didn't win one game.
You didn't win one game?
We didn't win one game, and Cat didn't win. I think 2 years ago, he didn't win one game. So we named our team Someday.
You'll win.
And we did. We won yesterday. And we didn't win today. So maybe we should change that name to yesterday. It's fun, though. It's so much fun out here.
To watch these people give it their all, I mean, it's a lot of fun. I mean, there's so much joy in these people's faces and their effort.
They love it. They love it. It's their fantasy of being a big leaguer. You know, they get the treatment inside the clubhouse. You know, we have a fun time doing the kangaroo court stuff. And they come out here on the field and we try to treat them like Major League Baseball players, you know. But there's a lot of challenges, though, for these major leaguers, you know.
There'd be a lot of challenge. I mean, for us, I mean, you're even in really good shape. I mean, still, if you went out there, you'd be sore.
I feel like just playing catch, I'm sore.
Right? And these guys are out here playing double headers. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, that's a good challenge.
I mean, but I mean, this is something relatively you did. Was last year your first year?
Yeah, first year doing it.
So you've gotten to, and now you're starting to see what a lot like what Shooty Babbitt and everybody's seeing.
Yeah.
It's like a family atmosphere around here.
Is.
These people, a lot of people have been here for many straight years.
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect coming in last year. You know, it's kind of like, all right, yeah, I'll do it. Sounds like a lot of fun. I've heard great things about it. I got through it. I saw everything happen, got that experience, and I just couldn't wait to get back for this year. So it's definitely something that I look forward to every year now.
You know, when I think about your connection with this organization, kind of wild, right? I mean, would you have ever thought, like, when you were first coming up and you're bouncing around, did you ever think, wow, I'm not just going to be, working in the A's. I'm going to be a part of like the A's family.
You know what? I felt that right away when I was an A. Billy Bean called me up that day. I still remember it when I got traded from the Reds.
Yes.
In 2010, he called me up, and just the way he made me feel, how welcome I felt, and I got to the A's, and it was like automatic, a special place in my heart for the A's, and it's been great ever since. The relationship that I've had being in Oakland A.
I remember when the A's got you, and immediately in that spring training, game started. You start playing like every day.
Yeah.
Like you were going to get an opportunity. That spring was huge for you.
Yeah.
You were getting an opportunity that you'd never gotten before.
Yeah, one of the campers asked, what was the pivotal part in my career? What was my break? And I was like, I never really thought about that. That's a great question. And I think it was when Billy Bean called me, that shift from playing for the Cincinnati Reds to the Oakland A's. I feel like that was a big break in my career. It's kind of cool to have the conversation with one of the campers today at lunch.
Yeah, that is. Because I remember it. I remember we were running the games, and it was like, I remember, you were one of the main acquisitions in the offseason, and you're playing like every day during spring, and you're getting that opportunity. Obviously they saw something in you that I think now you're seeing as a coach.
Yeah.
Like management saw there was this baseball guy in you. You're now becoming that guy from a coach standpoint. Does that make sense?
You mean like I see other players like that, or what?
Yes,
they have,
like the way you were a grinder, the way you
Yeah.
worked hard, you brought it every day, you were on time, and that means something, by the way, folks. Being on time,
right.
ready to go. You were that kind of player. You were a hustler. Billy needed more of that inside the organization. And like you're now, as a coach, making that happen inside the organization. It's very interesting.
Yeah, I try my best to bring that same energy. It's a lot different dynamic being a coach, because you are responsible for so many different personalities, and you have to understand what works for them. I knew what worked for me. I always had my foot on the gas pedal my whole career. I couldn't take it off. But here it's different. As a coach, you got to understand what these kids need and understand like how to communicate with them so that you can put them in a good position to succeed.
How tough as a manager was it for you when a guy didn't hustle like you did?
I couldn't stand it. It was really hard to see that. And there's times where I took kids out of games. I'm like, I expect more than I've told you. I've expect more out of you than that. So I had to take them out of the game, and I have to learn the hard way sometimes, But that didn't happen too often. A lot of times, these young kids that we have down here in the ACL, where I'll be coaching, they put their heart and soul into it. They do their best, and they do grind it out, just like I was as a player. But sometimes you see those guys that just can't do it.
Well, that's they've always talked about with coaching. It's like, great hitters will look at guys who struggle and go, well, why can't you hit? One of your biggest strengths was being a guy that brought it every day.
Yeah,
that's effort is something everybody can control.
That's right. Well, that's what I always preach to the players here. You got to bring that. You can, like you said, like you can control that. You got a choice to make to bring that energy every day, and to see that, like as a manager, to see somebody run out on the field or run the bases correctly and bring that energy. It's infectious, and that's why I try to tell them how important that is for this game of baseball. And a lot of them buy into it, but then again, it's a lot of hard work and determination to keep that same mentality for even just 58 games or whatever we play, let alone 162,
And now you're going to be settling back into a hitting coach role.
That's what I understand. Hitting coach, base running, infielding, maybe a little bench coaching for Tim Esme. And I'm really, really excited about that, to really connect with the players. I feel like I bring a lot of value to understand what they're going through and to relate with them. I feel like they're going to appreciate me more like that, and the value that I can bring to them in a cage or on the infield dirt. Just that connection, that direct connection with the player, and put a lot of time into like studying them and figuring out what they might need help with,
What's so interesting is that's also what Bobby Crosby's doing.
Mm-hmm.
So both you and Bobby Crosby got the managing experience, And then now he's going to be up with the big club, and it's going to be focusing on individuals.
Right.
It's like both of you got a great lesson. You got the lesson of what it's like to be the main guy, and you have to control everything. And now you can get back into honing your craft, working with individual players.
Right. And I think Bobby's going to be fantastic. I'm so happy for him to be at that major league level and be able to do that. And the players are going to love having him around, from how I know Bobby and just his reputation around the A's organization, his reputation around baseball. He's going to be great up in the major leagues. So, yeah, it's great to take that role on, like you said. I think you and I had a conversation before about how important it is to get that experience as a manager, and now how it's going to augment what we're doing as a hitting coach or bench coach, whatever we're going to be,
It changes you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because Mark Kotze will tell you that. I know Bob Melvin has told me that. It's like it changes you in life when you become the guy, and you got to look after because you have to look after all the coaches. You got to look all the players. It's a great experience, and it also is great for you to go back to being the coach. You're now a hitting coach working with all the hitters.
Right, exactly. And that's I'm really looking forward to that and understanding it. Obviously, just like as a baseball player, you're always learning as a baseball player. As a coach, it's a whole different dynamic, and I'm geeked every day to learn from the staff here. When all the staff is in here for spring training, I just soak it in. We have all the meetings before we talk about the players or the organization and what's expected, and it's amazing what I absorb in those rooms and learn. And I do my best to try to implement all those qualities out on the field for these players.
Now, when you're working with a lot of these young guys who are first coming into pro ball, there's a reason why they got to pro ball, but there's also things they need to change.
Right.
But there's a dynamic there. Like, you don't want to change a guy too much to where you completely alter him and he's done, right? He's in trouble, right? So it's like you need to fix some guys, but you don't need to tweak too much.
Right.
What is that like because you saw it as a manager and as coach, like when you got these young guys, very raw, really good athletes coming in, like there's an art to how much to tweak and how much not to. I don't know if I'm explaining that well, but you don't want to do too much.
Yeah, right. There's a happy medium, right? There's less is more sometimes, but that's why it's so important to get to know the player. And I think the biggest thing that I've learned in managing is the trust that the player needs to have in you before you can help a player. Like, he's got to trust you in order to actually absorb something that you're saying, right? You can't just, like you said, you gotta show them how much you really care. It's their career ultimately, but they really need to feel that you care about them and that they can trust you.
That's not easy. Gaining trust is
It's not easy. It's not easy, but that's why you work together. That's why you collaborate in the meetings, with the coaches to make sure that we're all on the same page. It's all one voice trying to help one kid, and that's not easy to do, that collaboration. But I know we do. We do our best to talk about what these players need, and so that we all understand. But I think that's the key, though, to be on the same page and have that collaboration.
Well, for fans, it's so interesting is that they see the finished product, right? They see the big league product. You see the big leaguers. Well, they got to start from somewhere, and you're getting guys who don't speak the language. They're not from this country, or they're really young kids out of high school. Just talk about what you're seeing when you're first getting these guys. They're not playing a full season. They're as raw can be.
Yeah, and I think when you say raw, immediately I think of like the mental capacity and the mental strength that they have to have. I think that's what they have to understand is, they get the physical talent. Like, they can play in the big leagues. I believe they can play in the big leagues. But the question is, can they play every day in the big leagues? Can they stay healthy? Can they deal with failure? Do they know where to go on the field in different situations? Do they understand the mental side of the game? That's what I believe separates a kid from one level to the next, is their capacity to learn the game of baseball and really implement what they learn.
So how are you long term? What are you thinking long term for you? Because right now I know because you got the young kids, you're like cool with this, but at some point kids get older.
Yeah.
Adam Rosales gets older.
Yeah.
So what are you thinking long term?
Man, yeah, I do. I talk to my wife a lot about it, when the kids are a little bit older, because obviously, like, I love this time. I'm grateful. I'm
And this
fortunate.
organization loves you too.
Yeah, well,
So
I
there's
appreciate
like,
that,
there's a lot of things you can do in this organization.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, and I really want to help out the best I can. Yeah, I mean, I do aspire to get to the major league level, and to help out at that level. I know it's going to take a lot of work when the time comes to do that. But it'd be really neat to get back to the major leagues and to understand what it takes to help a major league level player out,
Maybe get you back to the big leagues.
It'd be nice, but like you said, I'm always transparent, right now I'm just trying to be a husband and father right here in Mesa, Arizona.
Well, I got to tell you, you were always one of my favorites to cover. Wild times. And there's that one year it's like you're in our clubhouse, then you're with the Rangers, then you're back with us, then you're back with the Rangers. There haven't been too many guys have ever gone back and forth 2 franchises 1 season like that. Was that just unreal?
It was. I think it was more unreal for my wife than it was for me. Because I was in Toronto with the A's, right? And my wife's in Oakland waiting to hear what happens next as we get a foul ball.
Yeah.
And then all of our stuff's in Texas with all of our stuff, like all of our car with all of our baggage and all that. It was kind of a wild time, but it's cool. It's cool to tell the story. I tell the story a lot to young kids, that I work with the A's or outside, with high school kids. I get to tell them stuff that, look, you're going to go through some stuff like this in life, and it's kind of the adjustments you got to make quick. But then again, you always have such support, like the support system that you have. You go to a new clubhouse and the team welcomes you. A lot of respect, especially at the major league level.
Yeah, well, yeah, you were a great test at what adversity is, because in that face of adversity, oh, by the way, I don't care what uniform you put on, you got to perform.
You have to perform. There's no question. Yeah, you definitely have to help the team win, and that was my mentality. My number one goal when I was a little kid was to play one game on Wrigley Field, and I got to do that. And once I did that, I'm like, what's next? And my goal was to win a World Series. That was like what I was fighting for in the offseason to train for, and hoping to get an opportunity. And it was cool. I got to go to the playoffs with the A's in 2012. I got to go to playoffs a couple other times, but never quite got to the World Series. But yeah, you got to produce, and you got to have that winning mentality. Else it's gonna be really hard to develop the way you're supposed to develop.
And now we just need you to go win a game of fantasy camp.
We'll see if we're down 13-2 right now. So,
how do you know that?
Well, it was 13-2 when I left.
Oh.
It's pitching and defense, right? Pitching and defense wins championships.
Oh yeah, your defense is not winning you anything. All right, my friend.
All right, Towns, is great to hang
Good
out
to
with
see
you.
We'll see you at spring training.
All right, awesome. Looking forward to it.
Great stuff. Great stuff. The great Adam Rosales right here on A's Cast Live. When we come back, we're going to wrap everything up from fantasy camp right here in Arizona. It's Chris Townsend and Commander Cody for Link Soul. You need to redo your wardrobe, especially for summer. They got new colors, new styles. Summer is here. The polos, unbelievable. The shorts, you name it, we got our new order.
My wife is the happiest one out of all of us because I look better, thanks to Link Soul.
And they've got unbelievable deals right now for the summer. So what are you waiting for? Shirts, polos, shorts, you name it. You go to linksoul.com. That's linksoul.com.
Hey, it's Eno Saris, your friendly neighborhood baseball scribe. There are 2 things I love, baseball and beer. When I'm not busy around the ballpark, you'll likely catch me back with a cold one at any of Fieldwork Brewing's 8 locations sprinkled across the Bay Area. Fieldwork's got a rotating lineup of over 20 beers on tap that's as diverse as any 26-man roster. They got everything from super juicy hazy IPAs to crisp pilsners and tropical sours that make your taste buds do the wave. Whether you're all about that draft life or prefer to grab some cans to go, Fieldwork's got your bases covered. Check them out at fieldworkbrewing.com to learn more. That's fieldworkbrewing.com.
Streaming from the A's Road studio, A's Cast Live continues with Chris Townsend.
Another successful trip, Commander.
This was fun. Second fantasy camp for us in the books. Then we got spring training in like a month, right? It's a little over a month.
Yeah, I like it. I like how we do winter meetings, fantasy camp, into spring training, and then away we go. Season starts.
The grind is upon us again.
Well, you get so much down here, right? You get the history, I mean, you get to be like a kid when you see these guys. I mean, when you get to see Dave Stewart and Carney Lansford and Terry Steinbach, I can imagine like years ago when you used to have all the guys from the 70s here. We're going to have Raleigh Fingers here tomorrow, truly one of the great pitchers in the history of baseball. It's too bad. We're supposed to have Wash and Stephen Vogt here, but unfortunately, not unfortunately, they got big league manager jobs. So
they're a little busy.
Life changed for them. But this is a wonderful. You can't say it enough to be a part of the fantasy camp family. When you had Shooty Babbitt here yesterday, he's been doing this for 26 years.
Yeah.
And he started talking and choking up about it because, he's got lifelong friendships because of being a part of this. And you want to be a part of this. If you love baseball and you want to play and come down to fantasy camp. It makes for a great gift, whether it's birthday, whether it's Christmas, you name it. It could be an anniversary gift. It's a great gift. And then, it's men, women, and then next thing you know, their kids end up playing. So it's you got 4 fields of baseball going at all times. You can't beat it. It's a spectacular event. And I'm proud that we finally got to be a part of it and how cool it is.
Yeah, maybe one of these years we'll get out there.
No.
I mean,
you'd literally need to be ready though. You've got to
maybe it should be me. I'm the younger one.
Huh?
Maybe I should go out there. I'm the younger one.
Have at it.
I did play basketball last week in Pittsburgh with my friends, and
how'd that work?
Sent him a group text the next morning. I said, "Hey, how you guys feeling?" My buddy, who's a doctor, goes, "Yeah, I did take some ibuprofen and Tylenol before I went to work this morning."
You need to prepare. You need to start throwing.
That's what Ash was saying.
Start hitting.
He was training for a while, and he had said he hasn't thrown up a mountain in 25 years.
We would literally need to go across the street from my house and start playing catch in the park.
Yeah,
and need to slowly but surely get into shape, running, sprinting, taking ground balls. You got to get into shape.
You know what? I'm going to go do you one better. I'm going to call Eno, have him hook me up. I'll go up to Drive Line and work out up there.
Yeah, go to Drive Line. We'll work on your Stuff Plus and tell me how that works out.
Get my velo up a little bit.
And then that was the good part about today also was catching up with Nick Allen, Ryan Noda, Zack Gelof. I get it. Everybody can the naysayers can say whatever they want, especially about the players saying about winning. Until they do it, it's just talk. But the vibe around these guys and what their expectations are and what they think, it gives me hope.
Yeah, for sure. And it was good. Like you said, it was great to catch up with them. And then, spring training will be here and we'll catch up with everyone.
And you can't tell me the division has gotten better.
No.
The division has not gotten better.
There's a lot of chaos in the division.
There is time. You think we have chaos? There's chaos everywhere. And who can get better inside the chaos?
Let's see real quick. Angels haven't done anything. Astros haven't done anything. Mariners are subtracting. And the Rangers, they haven't done anything either. I know they won the World Series, but they haven't really made any moves. Jordan Montgomery's still out there. So still a lot to go. We still got a lot of big free agents out there. Blake Snell hasn't signed anywhere.
So this team, they got better at the end of last year, and these guys have a better taste in their mouth. They're young, they're hungry, and they got talent. That's the thing. You be young and hungry, no talent, you got no chance. No talent, no chance. But there's talent there. This trip got me fired up for spring training.
Same. It was good to
gonna be ready to rock spring training. A's Cast Live. We're gonna have you covered wall to wall A's and what's going on with the athletics, from the front office to the coaching staff to the players to the 40-man roster to the prospects. We will have everybody. We will cover it like a Snuggie.
Are they still a thing?
They have different. Like my kids have it's like the hood with the. I don't think the feet.
Is that a onesie?
No, onesies with where your feet go in.
Oh,
like the babies. You put the babies in the onesie.
Yeah.
And adults like onesie.
Well, I don't know about the baby.
Snuggie was like wasn't like a.
It was like a blanket thing, wasn't it?
It was like a almost like a which you take camping.
Sleeping bag.
It was like a sleeping bag with a hood, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
But the analogy is it
I know.
covers everything.
Yeah,
We cover everything like a Snuggie. And we'll do that in all of baseball because there is, and hopefully by the time we come back for spring training, that Chapman has a home, Bellinger has a home,
Snell,
Hader, that all these guys have
Montgomery.
a home. It's crazy. Is it the 11th or 12th?
Today's the 12th.
It's the 12th, and you've got all these prime free agents haven't signed yet. And how many of these guys are Boris guys? You think they're happy?
Oh, a lot of them are Boris guys.
You think they're happy?
No.
You think you're happy on January 12th and you don't have a job? You don't have a job. Every day that goes by, your leverage. Where's your leverage? We're in a game of leverage.
Yeah.
Where's your leverage right now?
Well, they don't have any right now. But yeah, I think hopefully all those guys are signed by spring training.
Well, they will be because maybe they won't. Maybe some guys will take it into spring.
Maybe Bellinger just says, I'm not playing until you give me the $200 million I want, which Eno said yesterday he would not give him $200 million. So we'll see what happens. It'll be interesting. We got what, like a month and a week. So 5 weeks.
Well, pitchers and catchers report what, on the 17th?
Valentine's Day?
14th?
Maybe, yeah. Maybe it's Valentine's Day.
So they're reporting. So if you're a pitcher, they're reporting pretty quick.
Yeah, so ramp up now.
Good luck.
Although Nick Allen was a drive line too. So everyone's going to drive line this offseason, apparently.
Well, that's what we're going to send you.
Get ready for fantasy camp.
That would be hilarious. Probably not in the budget, but we'll send you to drive line to get you ready. Send you to drive line in December. We got a rowdy crowd here on the backfields. Backfield 3 looked like there was a big double. It looks like it's a 2-run double. That's 4 against Dallas Braden's team. Dallas Braden's team. Oh, Dallas is going out. High-fiving. He's punching his guy. It's heated here at fantasy camp. Telling you the best part of fantasy camp was walking in here. Not a pitch had been thrown, and Dave Stewart screaming from the field, full uniform, hat, the bill turned, and he's all over the commissioner, screaming at him. Then I'm walking by. He's not even saying hello. Like normally how Dave Stewart is a fine gentleman, Dave Stewart. Dave Stewart's, hey, mama. And you see, like when Dave turns it on, when that flip switches with Dave Stewart, you don't want to be around.
Yeah.
He had choice. I got to hear choice words out of Dave Stewart's mouth before a pitch was thrown here at fantasy camp. If that's not what you're paying to see, I don't know what else.
I wish I missed it, but I'm
sure
it
was great.
Yeah,
it was great. It was great.
And then now Terry's mad at us because we kept all his guys out late last night.
If you can hear Dave Stewart curse at like 9 a.m., it's the best. It's the best. We were having a nice fantasy camp social gathering. It's not my fault Bobby Crosby's loud. Not Bobby Crosby's loud. And the more he consumes, the louder he gets. So we had to move it into this room where the Rotary Club was. See, that's the kind of stuff you get here at fantasy camp. You get to hang out with us at night. You get to do everything during the day.
So we're just that added bonus that you pay for to come.
You can sit there and you get the full experience of having a few drinks with the commander.
Yeah, Ash loved it, and he said it was the best part of the trip.
Between the two of you, he knew it was a conversation made in heaven.
Yeah.
Delaire and I were just laughing, going, "These two are made for each other."
We're talking about traveling in Australia and pubs and how much of Australia is undiscovered. It was great.
No, I can't even imagine Cliff Clavin meeting Cliff Clavin. It was the best.
he invited us out. He did invite us out to go to Australia.
It's like Kramer, George Costanzik, and Cliff Cleveland all meeting each other at one time. Did you get any Pittsburgh in there?
No, there's no
Pittsburgh.
No, there was
in there?
one of the fantasy campers is from Pittsburgh though, and then she goes, "Oh yeah, I mentioned I live in San Jose," and she goes, "Oh yeah, my friend lives in San Jose too, in Japantown." She shows her address. It's across the railroad tracks from where I live. Such a small world.
Can't make it up. You can't make it up. All right. Do you have the list of everybody we've had?
I closed it, but let me open it.
Come on. It was a big list. Big list.
All right, hold on. We're almost there. We had yesterday, we had Dallas Braden, Bobby Crosby, Carney Lansford, Dave Stewart, and Shooty Babbitt. Today, Nick Allen, Ryan Noda, Zack Gelof, Terry Steinbach, and Adam Rosales. So we had we went at everyone we need.
I'm glad we talked to the young guys. They got me fired up. All right, partner.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Yeah. All righty. When we come back, it will be spring training time. Our first day back will be when?
20th? February 20th.
February 20th. Till then, be well, my friends. And that'll do it for A's Cast Live and A's Cast from Fantasy Camp. Year 2 in the books. It was wonderful. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We always appreciate it. And next time we'll see you will be February 20th back here in the Valley of the Sun.
It's almost that time again, A's fans. Spring training will be here before you know it, and the Oakland Athletics will be celebrating 10 years.